Good morning, everyone. We good in Tonopah? Yes.
We're good, Chair. Thank you.
Hold on.
And good morning in Tonopah.
Good morning to all of you. It's just me up here today.
No trainee today, hey?
Good morning, everyone, again. We have Pastor James Atterbury from the Amargosa Christian Fellowship. Please stand if you like.
Let us pray together. O Lord our God, how majestic is your name in all the earth. You are the one true and living God, and we come to you through Jesus Christ by the power of the Holy Spirit. You say in your word that if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given him. By your sovereign power, may you grant the Nye County Board of Commissioners the wisdom and courage they need to make decisions that are right and true. For you have said in your word that righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. May they work together for the good of Nye County and lead out of love for the good of this community. May this meeting be marked by the fruit of the Holy Spirit, which includes love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and self-control. May your name be honored and done in this place. And we ask for all these things by the death of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. All right, at this time, we're going to open the joint meeting of the Nye County Board of Commissioners, Nye County Board of Highway Commissioners, Nye County Licensing and Liquor Board, Nye County Board of Health, as the governing body of the unincorporated town of Pahrump, as the governing body of the unincorporated towns of Beatty and Gabbs in Manhattan, and as the Board of Trustees for the Pahrump Pool District. And I read that because I wanted to make sure we all understand how much and the responsibilities that are sitting on this board. Who would like to lead us in the pledge? How about Commissioner Jabor?
Chair, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right, manager, let's move on to number 2, please.
Item 2, general public comment, up to 3-minute time limit per person. Public comment will be for all matters off the agenda. Action will not be taken on the matters considered during this period until specifically included on an agenda as an action item.
Thank you for that. In Pahrump, Ms. Larson.
Yes, hi, good morning. Laura Larson, Larsen. Well, this been pretty busy in the last month with everything that's going on to finding out about waste, fraud, corruption. I asked the board to take a look at this website. It's datarepublican.com. And you can put in on the left side, you can see all of the nonprofits and everything else that's actually coming through Nye County. You can just put in right there, Nye County, and it'll give you a list. I saw a lot of lists regarding the fact of it. I saw a lot of funding that was going to it. And then you're questioning, well, what's in it? What waste is there? I personally think that you guys should be doing maybe a forensic audit on what waste is being spent through this county. I think it's time. I know you guys have done audits, nothing against this wonderful lady because she's fantastic, but I think that we need to do a forensic audit. I think we need to go through it. I've been saying forensic audits since 2021. We need to do one. We need to go through the waste and stuff for DEI, school district, the whole 9 yards, and eliminate it. We can save a lot of money for this county if we did that. the Department of Education sent out a letter to all 50 states to get all their DEI and everything out of their programs immediately. So I'm asking this board to maybe do a forensic audit and go through that and eliminate that as well. Maybe we can save a lot of money for this county and it can go towards the roads in this county. Don't know, but it's something to think about because you can move that money elsewhere. Okay? God bless you guys. Have a blessed meeting. I will be talking probably on the phone because I have other appointments for my daughter today on number 14. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Laura. In Pahrump, Miss Tammy.
Tammy Pittman, P-I-T-M-A-N. And I would like this entered on the record, Janie. From Law Insider, there's a term, perceived conflict of interest, and it means a situation where an employee, while not in a conflict of interest, appears to have, in the opinion of a reasonably informed, well-advised person, a personal interest that is sufficient to put into the question the independence, impartiality, and objectivity which he or she is obliged to exercise in the performance of his or her duties and responsibilities as an employee. Then there's also a secondary. Perceived conflict of interest means a private interest that is that a reasonable person would think could lead to professional judgment being compromised. It is interesting to note that two of our BOCCs actually ran on anti-corruption campaigns. Commissioner BOCC, the sole platform agenda was to call into question the ethics of a sitting commissioner of the same district. Yet, as the January 6th BOCC meeting, Commissioner BOCC recused himself for the vote for filling the county manager's position due to a conflict of interest. He stated, and I quote, Nevada Revised Statute 281A-420 requires me to disclose a conflict of interest for this agenda item. Based on advice of counsel, I believe my personal past relationship with Wagner is substantially similar to a blood relationship and constitutes a conflict of interest in that independence of judgment is of a reasonable person in my situation would be materially affected by this relationship. It is to the economic advantage of Mr. Wagner. Because of this is a clear case of a disqualifying conflict of interest, I'm abstaining from voting on this matter. That the vote for Mr. Wagner was approved 4-0 was a shock to me. The county manager was significant influence of the items that are brought on the agenda. The reasonable person would think that that would lead to a professional judgment being compromised. They share the same address, and besides, at the county offices, wherever I have seen them around town, they work together. The BOCC writes Mr. Wagner's review and approves his salary increases. That admitted conflict of interest has not gone away. It is compounded by the influencer relationship, and as a result, Mr. BOCC has put himself in an untenable situation. He should recuse himself from all items brought to the BOCC by Mr. Wagner and his staff. Mr. BOCC has effectively rendered himself a liability to the fair and unbiased decisions of the BOCC. Mr. Bain, too, ran an anti-corruption campaign in Nye County, and despite his being a JD, and as a result should know full well that a perceived conflict of interest is and how it would affect his appointment, on his first day in office, on the dais, he voted in favor of Mr. Wagner's appointment. Nye County deserves better.
Thank you, Tammy. Sam, you got anybody on the phone?
Yes, Chair, the caller is unmuted. Please speak and spell your name for the record.
Good morning. Caroline Logue, L-O-G-U-E. I just wanted to make sure that the county commissioners realize that they are committed to a breadth of different types of responsibilities, which they address as closely as they can. They have, as the chair noted, a number of responsibilities, and we appreciate all their hard work addressing all of those. I would like to just recommend if there could be a broadening of the public advisory boards. I looked at the number of different boards and committees there are, and many of them are obsolete and not being utilized. Any help that can be done within those committees and advisory boards could certainly alleviate some of the concerns or questions or work that needs to be done regarding those issues. I'd like to ask the county commissioners to please look at those boards and commissions and see if some of them can be reinstated for the public to participate in whatever issues those committees and boards face. So thank you for your work, thank you for your time, and you have a great rest of the meeting.
Thank you, Caroline. In Pahrump, please.
Good morning, Beth Borisevich, Borysevich. Commissioner Bain, I would just like to say that you have a very nice suit on today. It looks very slick. What I wanted to bring up is we talked about on February the 4th, I believe it was, the fence in Artesia around that house, and it didn't get taken care of. So I contacted Commissioner Koenig, and I said, what's going on? And he said, well, I've been over there a couple times to see what's going on, and I don't know. Anyway, it came down to the point where, you know, somebody said there was a holdup. But by the 6th, I believe it was, keeping in contact with Commissioner Koenig, he said that the fence was up. He sent me a picture, and I would like to thank you for your diligence because that was really cool of you to do that. I would like to know if we can move number 12.2 to the regular session. I don't know if I can ask that or not, but right now it's sitting there in the group where you just go ahead and okay everything. I sent a letter to the sheriff on February the 2nd. I've been writing a lot. I do nothing all day, so can you guys tell? Anyway, and I asked him, code compliance has a rule that any officer has to have a class, and I wanted to know if that was done. I don't know if he knows all those rules. I think I can go ahead and send you guys a letter, but I'd like to know because they need to be actually sworn in order to file anything on anybody's home or go on their property. So I'm going to send you guys that letter because I want to know if code compliance is actually, you know, they're sworn in. Also, I was looking at the fairgrounds, and I want to know where we changed the tourism room tax to the fairgrounds room tax. I went through every single board meeting since 2013. Like I said, I have nothing else to do, and found that the name has been changed, but I don't know where. Also, I can't find in any minutes anywhere where the people of the town of Pahrump, who actually own the fairgrounds because it was given to Pahrump and not to the county, I would like to know where people said they wanted a community center. I know that I couldn't find it anywhere. I know it's supposed to be volleyball fields. They have a whole huge list of stuff that was supposed to go there, but now, I mean, it seems that things get added, but who's asking for these? Is it the commissioners or is it the people? I mean, if you took the $12 million we've already thrown into it for all of the water and sewer, we could be putting that into the roads. Also, the $6 million that's going to be returned, I'd like to see that go to the roads. Thanks.
Thank you. Sam, do you have anybody on the phone, please?
No, Chair.
In Pahrump, Mr. Lackey.
Darrell Lackey, Lackey. I want to thank Laura Larson for giving me something to talk about. In 2017, I came up with an idea to end homelessness and poverty, and I want to start here in Pahrump. But you guys kept saying, I got to be a business. I got to be a business. I got to be a business. But she just is showing you that all the 503Cs are just black holes, just sucking up money and giving salaries, and nothing gets done to fix the problem. I go to California a lot, and my Mexican friends there, I keep learning stuff from them. You know, Mexico voted out the two-party system 2 terms ago. You know, the Republican, Democrat, Illuminati systems that we run under. They voted them out. Now they're flourishing. They have their own refineries. They're building material. Okay, and then Trump keeps saying stupid stuff, and she's got to kind of smack him down politely. She's really good. You guys should pay attention. Everything on the news here is lies about Mexico. See, Mexico is showing the world what needs to be done. Now, in Mexico, say you have a job and you get paid, you get all your money. You get it all. And then they tax businesses, and that money goes to retirement, people that retired. Isn't that kind of neat? I think so. It gives me hope. You know, all these years that I've been pushing against this wall of yours, I keep pushing against it, you know, but I'm a block mover. I move blocks, heavy ones, little ones, I don't care. And Mexico broke through, the last one. Now, like I say, they got refineries, and now she's cleaning up. Trump says something about, oh, you got your cabal, your drug dealers down there all armed up. You gave them the weapons. So, yeah, you know what she's doing? She's going to the arms manufacturers here to have them be more responsible where their product is ending up. Here we got a bunch of wishy-washy, oh, Republican this, oh, the Democrat that. It's the same thing. It's all the same people at the top. You know it. But you're supporting it. All Republicans and Democrats are supporting it. Until you change and become a nonpartisan, there's no third party answer. All political. Politician means liar. Look it up.
I just had to let that soak in for a second. Sam, you got anybody on the phone?
Yes, Chair, the caller is unmuted. Please speak and spell your name for the record.
Good morning, Commissioners. Michael David Garcia, and I would like my comments entered in the public record as well. I'd like to start off by giving thanks and praise. Can you hear me?
Go right ahead, sir.
Hello. Yes. So anyways, I would like to start off by giving thanks and praise. And I don't believe we need a forensic audit when you have a father walking fatherless with his rights at the water rock. So basically, I don't know who's playing around with general comments when it comes to that narrative, but I'd sure like to see the defensive side of y'all's constitutional agreement and prevailing wage. Maybe we could just start off that we can protect the First Amendment and realize that it's an unalienable right. We can ignore all these federal violations and failures when it comes to audits, but I've been pointing out the judicial corruption, specifically USC Code 1983 when it comes to these docks, and as well as the 1985 traffic when it comes to these judges. And basically, we got to know when it comes to civil rights violations, our only salvation is going to be under 60B4, which basically outlines your lack of original jurisdiction and due process when it comes to the usurpation of our rights. Fortunately, we do have an administrative. I really thought all this was going to start off 4 years ago. I'd be able to rally a county, but I should have stuck with the good book and realized that we're meant to disciple nations, and we need to get past all of this courtesy grants that is littered with DEI. NRSs don't usurp the First Amendment. It's an unalienable right, regardless of what counsel tells you. I can prove it all. I got all the fraud. Fortunately, I have a place now to go with it, and y'all need to start recognizing counsel ain't going to be there when it comes to y'all processing fraud, okay? Whether you knew about it or not, it's still a crime. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. And I do realize the tenure of some of y'all's commissioners, but we do need to get it together. And like I say, I've never felt stronger than to stand up for these children, our future, our inherent prosperity, whether they're my blood or somebody else's blood. I'll stand up thick and thin against any one of y'all badges, judges, bad administrators. I have no problem. 1 equals 1,000 and 1,000 equals 1. And if I couldn't walk it, you know, the Lord wouldn't walk me to what he couldn't walk me through. So it's coming, you know, and believe me, Trump has said it. Anybody caught trafficking minors deserves a death penalty. And whether you're on the administrative side
All right, I
or whether you
appreciate
look
that.
the
Thank
other
you for
way,
your comments. Ms. Clark in Pahrump, nice to see you.
Thank you. I love to watch your faces when people come up to talk or on the phone. Anyway, I haven't been here for a while.
Would you be able to spell your last name for me?
Linda Clark, C-L-A-R-K.
Thank you.
So easy. My comments today are, and I'm sure you're going to want to hear them. I've been coming here for almost 5 years, and I can't see any major improvement in this group, even with the new people, even though I would more than welcome give them a chance, and I want to. I think we have a lack of communication, honesty, a lack of being truthful with our community. I think we have a lack of, I want to be nice. That's hard sometimes. On what we're really supposed to be doing here. You represent us, but I don't feel that's what's happening here in this community. It's become very stale.
Can I stop you just for a minute? Can you move and I stopped your time, can you move your mic so that you can be heard closer to your
Hear
mouth?
me?
That's better.
Yeah, the public was going like this, so they want to hear you.
No, I want to tell you that sometimes
I'm going to start your time again.
we can't hear you either. Anyway, you made me lose my thought, and I'm sure that's what you wanted to do. I think that you guys have a lot of growth that still needs to be done in this community. And, you know, I'm just a poor little old senior that lives over in Mountain Falls. But I drive to this community every day, almost. Well, not every day, but at least 2 or 3 times a week. And I don't take just the main highway. I try to go through the community because I want to see what's going on around here. And we've lost it somewhere, and I'm not sure exactly where it is, and I'm sure you guys know that, and you have no explanation for it other than no money. Why is there no money? And why do we have to rely on everything that happens to be grants? Today, the president said no more grants. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Now what are you going to do? So I'm just saying right now, we have a lot of stuff that need to be open, finished, and done properly. And I don't care where you get the money. No more grants, though. And you've got a lot of projects coming up that are scary as hell. And that's why we have a lot of people here today, because they have questions on what's going on in their community that they love. So I wish that you would try to think about it more. And I'm not blaming any particular person. It's a partnership here, right? I know you're not supposed to talk to each other. I know you do. Everybody does. So what are we going to do with this community? What are you going to do to make the people that live here happy? There aren't too many people happy here. And we have a lot of wonderful, lovely people here that deserve more than what we're getting.
Thank you very much, Linda.
I know, my 3 minutes are up. Thank you.
Sam, do you got anybody on the phone, please?
No, Chair.
Mr. Lilly.
Good morning, Commissioners, and I want to thank you guys for serving the citizens of Nye County. You're doing a best job, I suppose, you possibly can. But the reason I got up and came down here today is because I've heard
sorry.
a couple of
Dwight, can you spell
good
your last
points
name?
made by government, the federal government.
Can you spell your
One
last
of them
name,
was the
please?
term,
Can you spell your last name, please?
oh, you want me to spell my last name?
Sorry about that.
Let me think here. Oh, okay, Lilly.
Thank you. Just for the record.
3 points. Common sense, DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, and the Holy Bible. If you follow the Holy Bible, you'll find the solutions to all the problems that the county faces. If you appoint an independent commission to go through the books, go through every department of Nye County and see where there's leakage, I would suspect that you would find leakage just like the federal government found $1.5 billion the other day that they didn't even know they had in the Defense Department. So that's what my message is today. and also one of hope. I'm praying
people that have those same consequences. So that's some of the things that we've been doing. We also have continued to work on our food security, which is working to be about 11,000 every month that we help with the different pantries. So that's something. And then our drug substance abuse program has been going very well, and we're getting more information out to people. So I think that's good. And we're still working on housing because we do need workforce housing for people who need small homes so that they can afford to buy and live in. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sam, do you have anybody on the phone?
No, Chair.
In Pahrump, Dr. Waters.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Tom Waters, W-A-T-E-R-S. I'd like to talk to you about the Prostate Cancer Support Group for the town of Pahrump. We meet the fourth Tuesday each month from 6 to 7:30. We meet at the former town annex, which is also the DAV building, and we're inviting everyone to come out. And I say everyone because now that we have a woman as the co-chair of the Prostate Cancer Support Group, we're finding that how much it impacts the lives of women because of the lives and the problems of men. So we're asking women to come out and learn more about this deadly disease, prostate cancer. I still get a lot of phone calls from men who they tell me, I've just been diagnosed with prostate cancer, what should I do? The first thing I tell them is you should come to our meetings because you'll be able to talk to a lot of people, get a lot of information, instead of trying to make a decision on a phone call. That's not the way to do it when you talk about your life. The other thing is the Veterans Extravaganza. We have that on the first Friday in March every year. This one will be March 7th, and it's from 10 until 2 at the Bot Root Community Center. It's to provide information to veterans and their families, and we're inviting everyone to come out and provide information or to get information for your veteran, your family, or a veteran that you know. Wealth of information that comes out of that. We also have the Veterans Finance Committee, and that's a committee that gets together to help the commissioners come up with ideas to help veterans. You provide funds each year for veterans, and to spend those funds, as someone already mentioned, you can't talk to each other. So we speak for you, and we provide the information to you. And so far, 100% of the items that we've brought to you, you've approved, and we appreciate that. Just to remind a lot of the people that don't know some of the things that have happened, the banners, the veteran banners on Calvada is just one of the items. You help us with the dogs as well. When there's personally trained service dogs, you help us with that. There's a Nevada Outreach where you help with that for paying electric bills and other things that veterans need. So you go out of your way to do it, and we're asking for more ideas. So anybody that would like to help us come up with ideas on how to use these funds, please come to the Veterans Finance Committee. We meet at the Hafen Building, classroom number 10. It's right across from Nevada State Bank. And our next meeting is going to be on March 14th. It's always on a Friday from 3 until 4:30. I also bring in the Veterans Reporter newspaper. It talks about veteran issues. I have that's the old one. I brought the latest one here if you'd like those.
Thank you, sir.
I'm also going to bring in a lot of information about the town board.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Sam, do you have anybody on the phone?
No, Chair.
In Pahrump, please.
Tina Bonkuglin, Bondkuglin. Well, good morning. I know I come off brash sometimes, but I don't sugarcoat what I have to say. I am direct and to the point. I know at a Planning Commission meeting in January, I stated my issues with the county commissioners appointing Planning Commission boards to do the commissioner's job instead of being voted in by the people. After doing some research, I understand it a lot better now. 2 years ago, I applied for a position, but I was told I didn't have the experience. 20 years in construction, 10 years in traffic control, 3 different HOA boards in Las Vegas, working with Clark County, Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, Henderson. My years with search and rescue, being on Nevada CERT, running an off-road group since 2013, volunteering with the BLM through that group, volunteering with the Historical Society, let alone countless other things I volunteer with and donate to, wasn't good enough. But maybe someday it will work itself out. Anyway, what I'm here about today is after Wednesday evening's meeting, I was the last item on the agenda. Someone on the board or one of the Nye County employees called the boarding facilities that were in my statement and told them, and these are their words, that I threw all boarding facilities under the bus. They even told one of them that I mispronounced their name. Now, I'm not sure if this is common practice or part of the procedure, but this has led me to being harassed. I don't understand that these proceedings are public knowledge when a request for transcripts are given. I have been an HR manager for almost 30 years. If one of my employees or a volunteer did this, they would be fired on the spot. An incident like this can lead to legal actions being taken against all involved, especially if any harm comes to me, my husband, my ranch, or my animals. My intention with my 3 statements were to show how much a procedure for a business license needs to change, to show that it is not fair, equal towards all businesses, to show how many equine facilities there are here, but because of getting a license is so hard they would rather work without one. It wasn't to get anyone in trouble, but to help the equine community. I had even volunteered my experience and my time with business license process to help revamp yours. It is in actions like these that keep the disdain for Nye County building, planning, county commissioners, and the planning board alive. If actions like this are left unchecked, it could lead to open-ended lawsuits or multiple arrests. The town of Pahrump needs to make changes to become more small business friendly, needs to encourage and help small businesses grow, and needs to become more for the people and by the people. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. In Pahrump, please.
Karen Waldman, WALDMAN. I'm requesting this to be part of the public record. There's a tremendous amount of uncertainty with the use of grant money. Your most recent budget indicated that over 20% of it came from grants. What will you do to plug that hole? I believe you need to be much better stewards of our taxpayer dollars. For starters, why aren't there economic impact and cost-benefit analysis done, or even a feasibility study done before any decisions to move forward with these tax money drains on your proposed projects and spending? It seems that in many cases, the decisions made from this board are to get everything you want. This board has to learn to want what we need, not take what you want. Our taxpayer dollars are not sitting in a magic lamp that when activated, funds magically appear. Our budget is not your magic genie. Every single dollar you spend was earned by someone. Let me repeat that. Every single dollar you spend was earned by someone. We are that someone. I'm holding a Town of Pahrump Community Assessment Report from October 2011. It's a detailed snapshot of the challenges and desires that the community had at that time. Why haven't you done one of these recently? Are you afraid to learn that some of the most expensive and unaffordable projects aren't even on anyone's short list? Would you like to know what the top issues were in 2011? Jobs, 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 business recruitment and retention, cost of startup, red tape and infrastructure needs, workforce development, lack of defined industrial area, lack of hotel space. At least we've gotten more hotel rooms, but then again, that was self-serving because it generated revenue from room tax dollars to fund your projects. Quite frankly, it seems that many of your proposals seem to follow along the infamous California bullet train debacle, dollars shoveled toward the tracks that never get finished or accounted for. As we go through today's agenda and you have to conscientiously vote to spend money, I want each and every one of you to ponder this. If we have enough money to do this agenda item, why are we consistently told we don't have enough money to fix our roads without taxing the people more? You simply cannot have it both ways. We can't be too poor to fix our roads, but so wealthy to have hundreds of millions of dollars to spend or build something that's not a necessity. Many of your proposed projects mask the true costs. For example, will any of these projects require the hiring of more sheriffs to assist in safety? How about hiring more paramedics and purchasing more ambulances? What about enlarging roads for access points? Not long ago, a motion to approve funding in the amount of $250,000 for a roundabout at Dalton and Highway 160 to be funded by county impact fees passed 4 to nothing. That's a great example of hidden fees that never seem to make it into your actual accounting metrics. I'd like for you all to consider that the Vegas mentality to abandon the old and reinvent the new is part of what destroyed the history of Vegas. Granted, they had mega casinos ready to implode whatever stood in their way of the idea of progress to fund this ideal. But having lived in this valley for over 47 years, I think Pahrump can do better. Please remember, it's our needs you need to be addressing, not your wants. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Sam, do you have anybody on the phone?
No, Chair.
All right, seeing none in Pahrump, Tonopah, or on the phone, we're going to close public comment and go to number 3, please.
Item number 3, Commissioner Manager comments. This item is limited to announcements, brief discussions of public comments, correction of factual inaccuracies, direction to staff, or topics proposed for future board meetings. Lengthy deliberation of topics not on the agenda is prohibited by the Nevada open meeting law.
Thank you for that. Commissioner Bain, do you have anything? Nope. Commissioner Koenig?
I think I'll pass until the end of the meeting.
Commissioner Jabbour?
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everybody. Last meeting that we had, I did make an announcement. Unfortunately, we had a fire in Tonopah, and we lost at an apartment complex. We lost four of those apartments, and so we had 4 displaced families, but they're okay. The community stepped up, and they're still stepping up and doing fundraisers and provided temporary housing until they can get resituated. But I bring this up because, as I've said before, very, very rarely do we get thanks, or do we give thanks. Here we had our chief and director of emergency management, Scott Lewis, who's here in Chambers, was actually out of town at a seminar, but was on the phone, on both phones, on the radio, and helping to coordinate and helping to organize, even though he was distant from the actual location. There were actually 3 fire chiefs from 3 different areas that stepped up between Esmeralda County, sheriffs and fire, EMS, first responders, and also Nye County. They all stepped up coming in from Round Mountain, et cetera. Silver Peak. We even had, they mobilized Mineral County. Sure, Chief, after Mineral County, I believe, was dispatched and asked to come and help because the winds were fierce, and it took quite a while, and there were some meetings that our assistant county manager had to cancel because we're kind of close to where that fire was. So we needed to keep people out of danger. And I want to thank you, you as a whole, as far as all of the first responders for coming together and saving. We saved lives. Lives were saved. Unfortunately, we did lose a couple of animals, and a couple of animals were fortunate enough to escape and run for their lives, and hopefully they returned back. But go ahead, Chief, if you don't mind, through the chair.
Go right ahead.
Just real quick, Commissioner Jabor, thank you. It was a collaborative effort through multiple agencies, wind-driven fire involving a quadplex, heavy fire conditions on their arrival, frigid temperatures, a lot of obstacles to overcome. But the mutual aid response that you mentioned was phenomenal. Round Mountain, Silver Peak, Esmeralda, even as far south as Beatty responded to that fire. Prompt and covered the entire southern end of Nye County to make sure that everyone from Beatty south was also covered. We were actually prepared to send up equipment and personnel if they needed it, but given the time frame, they were able to get that situation under control. The residents, the sheriff's office, everyone worked collaboratively together, just did an awesome job and held it to that quadplex. And just wanted to extend my thanks for everyone who answered their phones and assisted on getting those resources up there. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief, and if you don't mind, please extend our thanks to all of those departments. Everybody, thank you. Thank you, Chair. And thank you, folks.
Vice Chair?
Thank you for the update. Thank you, Chair.
Sure. Oh, nothing for you? No. Okay. So I need to clarify something. So our last meeting in January, when we discussed the Highway 160 Homestead project, I was quoted, there were a couple of folks I heard that were upset with the way I said something, and what I said was, they took it to mean that I was being disrespectful or whatever, in the fact that they shouldn't be asking details or the intricacies of what we're doing and things like that, but that is not at all what I was saying. I was trying to explain that if we provide you, the people, a clear picture of what we're doing and how we're doing it, then it'll be easier for you and us and everything else. So I just wanted to clarify that we're speaking the same language on that. I just wasn't as clear as I could have been. So I will do better on that on my end. Secondly, locally, since our first meeting in January, we are on a path of saving a tremendous amount of money that I believe and we believe is some wasteful spending that doesn't need to be. So whether you support me or don't, or us, get ready, because it's time to save some money. So there's that. As far as Ms. Pittman's comments, we have a district attorney sitting right there who will be happy to answer any of your concerns on conflicts or anything like that. We also have a Nevada Commission on Ethics. You're welcome to reach out to them. We all five operate under a very, very, very strict set of rules with regard to disclosures and abstaining from things and things like that. So please feel free to reach out to anybody if you have any of those concerns. And I think that's it, other than thank you all for being here. All right. Any managers? I see one. Mm-hmm.
Christy Sigmund, SIEGMUND Animal Services Manager. So just some numbers and statistics for you. So in January, we saw 88 strays come into our facility. 34 of them were returned to owner, which left us with almost 50 still in our care. So we are not seeing that upswing that I was really hoping for, people coming and reclaiming their animals. But we did have over 41 adoptions, so that was really exciting as well. This month alone, we've already had over 50 animals, 52 of them come in as strays. 16 of them have been reclaimed to owner, so an even lower percentage than last month. But we've had 30 adoptions. So again, we really like those numbers as well. But just a reminder to the community, we aren't big bad people. If your animal has gotten out, we completely understand things happen. Just come and get it. And for a lot of the times, if it's your first offense, we will even waive a fee. If there's financial hardships, come and talk to us. We want this animal to go home. We don't want it to stay here in our shelter. So just come and get it. Talk to us. Come and talk to me. We'll work something out, I promise. Tales of Nye County closed at the end of last year, as everyone is aware. And in the last 4 weeks, we have sent 71 feral cats to Vegas to be spayed and neutered. That's a huge number. We all knew that they would leave a gap in our community, but I don't think we were quite expecting the large gap that they actually left. What this means for animal services, this means an animal control officer driving into Vegas once a week with at least 20 to 30 cats to get them spayed and neutered so that we can then release them back into the community through the community cat program. So it means I lose an animal control officer at least 1 day a week. It means trapping. It means hours of work, not just with the community, but with animal services as well, to help take care of these community cats. So I just want to bring that to your attention. We're happy to continue doing it. We've revamped and reworked our schedules to make this happen for the community and to be a support. But it is an additional aspect of animal services now that I don't think any of us were truly planning. So just kind of keeping that on your radar, because that will mean some additional changes likely in the future, especially if we continue with these numbers. Some really exciting things that are happening at the shelter. We're working with a local rescue here in town to come in and do baths and walks for our dogs. They are absolutely loving it, and the enrichment that it brings is fabulous. And speaking of enrichment, I am also working with some local Boy Scouts to come in and build an enrichment program. So they're putting together food tools and toys and various things that will bring some joy, because those kennels are boring. I would be bored if I sat in a kennel all day. So those are really, really exciting things, so stay tuned for more updates on that. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Manager, for what you do, honestly. Sam, do we have any managers on the phone?
No, Chair.
Chief.
Morning, Scott Lewis, Director of Emergency Management for Nye County. I just wanted to inform you of some other fires that occurred in the last several days. We had a fire in Gabbs that occurred last week. We had a good mutual aid response. It was frustrating from the time frame to get those resources there. But what has come as a positive note is that we now have re-interest from citizens of Gabbs to step up and start protecting their community. So we've been working with their community leaders and getting that accomplished and creating an operational plan, which will include training of their persons interested, the applications, the physicals, all those different things. So that's some good news. I'm really glad that even though it was driven as a result of a bad incident, there's a positive aspect to it. We've also responded to Charleston View over the weekend for a working structure fire that was deemed arson. So they're working on that, and we sent crews over to assist them. And then we had a structure fire here in town that took out a couple of trailers at the rear of the property. It was under, my understanding, was a code compliance case. So we're working on that and working closely with the Red Cross for all the displaced residents on the property. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Chief.
Oh, one last thing. I'm sorry. Patrick and I attended a NEPA conference last week, and during the of course, at that conference, we were approached on many of the issues that have been Nye County's been facing, and with a lot of positive feedback. So I just wanted to make sure the commissioners knew that. It included a recovery of an aircraft and a person, even going back to the lithium-ion battery fires in the 95. So a lot of nice things said about Nye County and our efforts. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Sure, thank you. Thank you, Chief, for bringing Gabbs up, because I'd like to give the people an idea of how far Gabbs is. They're probably the furthest, well, they're not the furthest, because the Yumba tribe is just north of Gabbs, which is the reservation, which is part of Nye County. But Gabbs is about an hour and 45 minutes from Tonopah. And that's why the chief mentioned it was tough logistically to get response up there. But my point is this, is that we have a fire station in Gaps. We have a fire apparatus in Gaps, but it was closed because there was no interest in volunteers coming. So I'm glad, not that we're happy that the fire occurred, but it was abandoned buildings. Nobody was injured, okay, which is a positive, a plus, absolutely. And sometimes this is what it takes for volunteers. So again, they are our eyes and ears throughout the county, and we definitely need volunteers to help exactly save lives. So thank you, Chief, for helping orchestrate that as well. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Commissioner. Miss Elliott.
Good morning, Stephanie Elliott, ELLIOTT for the record. Just want to start off by saying thank you for your community service and helping not only Pahrump, but our entire community of Nye County. I look forward to a productive meeting today. I also just wanted to give a little clarification on a question that had been brought up during public comment. Pahrump Town Ordinance number 27 was adopted by the then Pahrump Town Board back in April of 1988. So there's only a handful of people in this audience even that may have remembered that. Later in 2018, June of 2018, Pahrump Town Ordinance 68 was adopted to actually separate funding specifically for the Pahrump Fairgrounds. So I just wanted to share that information that it was actually done through Pahrump Town ordinances. Thank you. Have a wonderful meeting.
Thank you.
I appreciate that
Yeah.
quick response, so it doesn't take a letter and emails and all that. Thank you.
Sam, you got anybody on the phone?
No, Chair.
I think I might see one coming.
Good morning, Commissioners. Just wanted Brad Adams, ADAMS for the records.
And what do you do, Brad, for the county?
I am the Director of IT.
Thank you.
Nye County. Wanted to give some clarification and some additional information based on the 911 outage that we experienced on January 31st. So I prepared some information to make sure that I don't miss anything, and we'll leave open for some comments or questions. 911 VoIP circuits went down approximately 2:16 on Friday, January 31st. Immediate analysis on our side showed no errors, no failures in our call handling, interface, or transport systems. Working with the AT&T 911 resolution team, the redundant AT&T 911 trunks were confirmed. These redundant trunks are in Beatty at our alternate center. Were confirmed to be up at the geo-redundant dispatch site. I requested an immediate reroute of all available trunks. By 3:07, roughly 51 minutes later, 911 trunks were rerouted to our secondary dispatch center by AT&T, and we had successfully tested. Our public safety microwave system was instrumental in transporting the traffic internally, substantially reducing downtime from, as Commissioner Strickland had indicated, from 22 hours down to 51 minutes. We had previously met unsuccessfully with other telecom providers investigating alternative options and have had multiple working sessions more recently with the new statewide 911 coordinator, working to improve regional and statewide 911 technology, redundancy, resiliency, and reducing legacy rules limiting options on the telecom 911 systems in Nevada. These rules go all the way back to LATA lines and what can be offered within a territory. This is a shared concern throughout the state. Separate recent outages and fiber cuts on the Lumen and other telecom providers' side have taken out multiple counties' 911 circuits, taken them down in the state, including Las Vegas Metro PD, as well as core fiber severed in Kentucky, if I recall correctly, that caused a major outage along the whole western seaboard, impacting numerous 911 centers. We were not impacted by that one on the 911 side, nor were we impacted by the Metro PD, Boulder City, and so on 911 outage that was due to Lumen, not on 911 trunks. Our dispatch has contingency plans in place designed to help ensure that our operations continue even if our primary systems, AT&T, fail. Text to 911 never went down. Citizens were able to text in request for assistance during their outage. That text 911 goes through a disparate path. So it is not connected to our 911 trunks or our auto location services, any alleys. They are completely through a separate path. Additionally, Rapid SOS was also up and running while the outage occurred. Rapid SOS is an emergency response platform that sends critical location and other data to dispatchers through a connected device or app once 911 is pressed on the device itself. It takes the alert 911 call and uses an AI to send the incident data back to 911 dispatch centers. This never went down during the AT&T outage because it does not rely on call routing. During the outage, dispatchers were able to still see location data on those who were attempting to call but not making it through. Dispatchers have backup cell phones in the dispatch center that they were able to utilize and call people back to get further information if needed. One consistent item leading to downtime is the process of identification and locating critical utilities on major projects leading to severed utilities and a less than desirable process of notification to the utility. This process is also being reviewed and evaluated by the 911 coordination team to determine what steps can be taken to mitigate these risks. As I've been sitting in the back, I did receive an email as a follow-up from the state 911 coordinator as a division of the Department of Emergency Management. She did indicate, based on this outage, which is in a string of outages affecting multiple other agencies as well as us in the state of Nevada, she has contacted Public Utilities Commission. She is going to be attending, and possibly with other staff, every 2 weeks, the Public Utilities Commission meeting that also hosts AT&T there as well. So a lot of the projects that we have right now, these are a little bit unusual projects because they are mainline long-haul fiber along different paths, and they potentially intersect or overshoot legacy circuits. And these are where some of the problems come in. And hopefully, through changes in legislature, more stringent oversight, when they're actually doing the install of new fiber, new construction, we can mitigate some of these issues. Open for any questions.
Board, anybody have any questions?
Brad, operating as a contractor in the past, using a backhoe, you call for 1-800-DIG, and they go out there and they mark it. Damn if they aren't wrong so many times.
True.
So many times. Wouldn't it just be a lot more effective just to go ahead and issue detectors to the, someplace where they can pick it up, go out there, have ATN do their thing, but have a detector on site for those digs, especially the major ones. You know, when they're crossing fiber and they're using or putting in those fiber lines, they should have their own equipment to be able to be more accurate.
You are exactly correct, and I think even doubling down on that, and this is a statement I made to the state, minor projects, the implications, if you cut up or cut through 50 or 150 pair, you're affecting a small contingent of the population. When you cut through a mainline fiber, that is carrying a lot of traffic. So I think you're exactly on the right track. I would like to see it even go further. I would like to see them having somebody that's qualified to use that equipment on site as they go along the roadways and cut the fiber in. Because a lot of times when they locate it and they have to cross over, there's going to be a demand, once it's located, that there's a 7-foot barrier on either side.
Yes.
They have to hand shovel it. Now,
They
that's
do.
a pain, but it saves an awful lot of money in fines and fees and downtime and potentially lives. So,
And their liability insurance doesn't get hit.
their liability insurance. Yep.
Thank you for that, Brad. I just think it's so poorly done. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Brad, thank you, and thank you, Commissioner. I, too, am familiar with the backhoe and digging, and calling before you dig is one of my responsibilities in the north. I'm not going to tell you where exactly in the north, which is central Nevada. Whereas there are sensitive areas when it comes to fiber, sensitive areas that take care of the northern part of the state, the southern part of the state, and then the very, very sensitive area of the state that we're not allowed to go to, right? So they have those magnetic balls that they drop in where it does cross over. However, from experience, I can tell you, we can come up with a almost foolproof plan, but we are the ones responsible. Whoever the one is calling for call before you dig is the one responsible. Even if we had AT&T or had another entity that was there on site to oversee the digging and the hand shoveling, et cetera, if we hit that line, we are the ones that are responsible. So the hand shoveling, very effective. They're color coordinated. There's a certain depth, et cetera. And it's just unfortunate that the maps were off and somebody wasn't paying attention, and it was very costly, and it could have cost us some lives here in Nye County and outside of the boundaries. That's the bad part, exactly. So I share that with you, Brad, as the director, that when you do meet with the meetings of the minds, to try to put together a plan, is to help them with their plan.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Please and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioners. All right, thank you for that, Brad. Anybody else on the phone by chance?
No, Chair.
All right,
Can we close it and have a break?
we're closing that.
Can we have a comfort break? Just 5.
All right, we're gonna do a 5-minute comfort break. 11:07, please. All right, Janie, how we doing? I'm saving her life. Bless you. Tina Bond Coughlin. Or Kuglin. Ready, Janie? Let's do it. All right, let's get this party started. Number 4, please.
Item number 4, approval of the agenda for the February 19th, 2025.
You betcha.
The agenda is fine with the exception of item number 5 needs to be removed.
Thank you for that. Let's move on to number 6, please. Sorry?
Do you guys vote on that or no? Okay.
Nope.
Item number 6, 10 a.m. timed item for possible action, discussion, and deliberation regarding the monthly statement of county treasurer pursuant to NRS 354.280, including receipts, balances and funds, money on deposit, outstanding checks, and cash on hand.
Do we have Raylan on the phone by chance?
Yes, good morning, Commissioners. Raylan Powers, Powers. The bank reconciliation and treasurer's report we have today is for the month of December 2024. Unfortunately, we did have a small influx in the market rate changes towards the end of the month of December. We do have a small negative that we have to record according to GASB, just under 200,000. The market has leveled out again. We have a positive for the month of January, which you'll be able to see when we complete and present our January bank reconciliation and treasurer's report. I was excited to hear and see our financial report by our auditor last Thursday. As soon as the auditor adjusting and closing entries are completed and posted in our accounting system, which is referred to as Eden, we should see those miscellaneous items on the last page of that bank reconciliation report be addressed and removed off of our bank reconciliation, and everything should be back in alignment. Don't really have anything else spectacular to report today. Do we have any questions, Commissioners?
Thanks, Raylan. Commissioners, do we have any questions?
I just have a statement. Treasurer Powers, I had the good fortune of meeting with you yesterday, and I'm loving the fact that on our summary for December or tentative, it does show that our miscellaneous adjustments have really gone down. And then on our, go ahead.
I was just going to agree. Yes, Commissioner, that is correct.
And what I really love is on the next page where we talk about our priors and our currents. It's very evident that we have been collecting our taxes, and thank you everyone for getting those paid. And that's what's brought us up from the 172 to the 176. And basically, you just take your tax bill, look at your tax bill, and you can look at every single line item on that tax bill, as you pointed out to me, is where that is existing in the sweep account. So thank you for that and your clarity as of yesterday.
You're very welcome, Commissioner.
Anybody else? No? How about we open this up for public comment? Sam, do we have anyone on the phone?
Yes, Chair. The caller is unmuted. Please speak and spell your name for the record.
Hi, this is Tim Bohannon, Bohannon. The treasurer pointed out some good things about the miscellaneous, and I think Commissioner Strickland did as well, with the miscellaneous dropping and the journal entries that now that the audit's complete can be addressed. A couple of thoughts along the way, because there was a comment a few months ago regarding the collections, and I think it was one of the primary reasons of doing the borrowing of the 5.7. What I would like to see happen is a regression analysis when tax collection should be coming in. You know, if the tax invoices are cut on one day, it's not necessarily going to be paid the next day. It will be over time. And that forecasting, if you will, would help in that communication process I'm talking about with Treasury and Finance to make sure that our numbers are good, our cash is clean, and accounted for. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Anybody else, Sam?
No, Chair.
All right, we're going to close.
Chair, may I comment to the comment?
Yes, please comment.
You're right on with that comment, Mr. Bohannon. I've asked Stan MacArthur to provide us what was called a cash flow, which you would know what that means. A cash flow just like your bank account. You know when you're getting the money, when you're going to get paid, when you can pay your bills. We will have a cash flow that this board can then examine, and the departments can be looking at and realizing whether or not they have the cash in their accounts to spend. Just because it's been budgeted does not mean it's actually there. Thank you, Mr. Bohannon.
Thank you for that, Commissioners. Anybody else? No? All right, we're going to close public comment and then move on to number 7, please.
Item number 7, 10 a.m. timed item for possible action. Public hearing, discussion, and deliberation on ZCMP-24-11, a request for a conforming zone change from Village Residential VR20 to Rural Homestead RH 4.5 to allow for the installation of a radio tower antenna on a vacant parcel of land located at 1331 South Barney Street, Pahrump, Nevada. Assessor's parcel number 036-351-54, Calvary Chapel, Pahrump Valley, Inc. is the owner. Brandon Beckham is the agent for the applicant.
Thank you for that. Hello, Kiana.
Hello, good morning. The Pahrump Regional Planning Commission heard this item at the January 15th, 2025 meeting. During the discussion of the meeting, the PRPC voted 7-0 to recommend approval of ZCMP 2411 to the Board of County Commissioners for the conforming zone change. The property owner requested the zone change from VR20 to RH 4.5 to allow for the installation of a radio tower antenna for the Calvary Chapel. Upon review of the application, staff finds that the requested zone change complies with the requirements of Nye County Code Title 1704 and finds sufficient justification to recommend approval. The applicant is also in the audience and available for any questions.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Board? Or you want to do let's do public comment first. Sam, do we have anybody on the phone?
No, Chair.
Oh, okay. All right, we're going to close public comment then. And board?
I would make a motion,
Well, I have a comment.
please.
Last year, I brought forward an idea to require or request that any new antennas be only on town-owned or county-owned property. I know this is a little different situation, but it just sort of reminded me that we need to revisit that.
But, and I totally agree, but this is a different circumstance because it's a specific, it's not one of the antennas that's going to serve like,
Yep.
right? What you're
Correct.
after, right?
Correct.
So would you like me to make a motion?
Yeah, I would like that.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the conforming zone change ZCMP-24-11 based on the RPC staff recommendations and finding and subject to the conditions of approval as outlined.
Board seconds.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor in 2 seconds. If there's no further discussion, I'm going to call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Board's aye.
Blaskovich, aye. That motion carries 5-0. Number 8, please.
Item 8, 10 o'clock a.m. for possible action. Public hearing, discussion, and deliberation on a ZCMP 24-12, an application for a master plan amendment minor to change a 9.97 acre portion of a 20-acre lot from rural density residential, RDR, to business industrial area, BIA, to allow the expansion of a gravel pit facility located at 1870 East Blosser Road, Ranch, Pahrump, Nevada, assessors parcel number 027-411-30, MM Holdings LLC, property owner Morales Construction, Inc., applicant, and B, ZCMP 24-10, an application for a conforming zone change on a 9.97 acre portion of a 20 acre parcel zone, rural homestead 4.5, RH 4.5 to heavy industrial HI to allow the expansion of a gravel pit facility located at 1870 East Blosser Ranch Road, Pahrump, Nevada, assessors parcel number 027-411-30, MM Holdings LLC, property owner Morales Construction, Inc., applicant.
Thank you for that, Assistant Manager. Kiana.
Thank you. The Pahrump Regional Planning Commission heard these items at the October 9th, 2024 meeting. During the discussion of the meeting, the PRPC voted 7-0 to recommend approval of ZCMP 2412 and ZCMP 2410 to the Board of County Commissioners for both the Master Plan Amendment and the zone change. As stated in the blurb, the property owner requested the conforming master plan amendment and zone change to allow for an expansion of a gravel pit facility. Mr. Morales is in the audience if you would have any questions.
Thank you for that, Kiana. I'm going to go ahead and open up public comment first. Hello? Hello.
Karen Waldman, W-A-L-D-M-A-N. I'm requesting this to be part of the public record. You are requiring more and more businesses that come into Pahrump to add landscaping, which generally means desert landscaping and rocks, lots of rocks. How do you expect people to afford these landscaping requirements without at least an affordable option? Have any of you ever been to this rock quarry? If not, I suggest you give Mr. Morales a call and ask for a tour. He's very proud of his operation, as he should be. He has invested hundreds of thousands of dollars there and provides countless jobs as a result of this facility. And ask him to show you his new scale that's about 100 feet long and costs around $200,000, which is far less than what was recently proposed in the new landfill fee increases for a new scale. Recently, I took a field trip to see the Morales Construction rock quarry. I was extremely impressed with what an incredibly clean and efficient operation he runs, one I didn't expect to see in a rock quarry. I am holding some of the washed rock he sells. Note that there isn't any dust or dirt on it at all. That means that when the truckloads of rock are delivered to a work site, there is little to no dust as it tumbles out of the trailers. The question is, does this county have trouble with real competition among businesses? And if so, shouldn't you let true capitalism go to work? If a business can run a profitable operation for less money and charge people that would like to have their product at a cheaper price than what a competing business does, that's exactly what capitalism is all about, providing the best goods and services for the best price without losing your shirt or business. You aren't going to spend $150 for a good steak if you can get the exact same one for $40, and that's just the way economies work. We all make choices of what we buy and what we can afford. Sometimes I'm willing to pay a little more for something, and other times it's a generic label because that's all my budget can afford. Where is the county willing to buy its landscaping product from? A company that charges the best price or the one that charges the most price? Because in the real world, we have to shop for the best deal our budgets can afford, and it's great to have an affordable choice. County budgets cannot afford to shop at businesses that don't stretch our county dollars any more than any of us can afford to do. I'm grateful there is another option for landscape rock in Pahrump. I believe you should follow the guidelines of the RPC and approve this. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. I, too, actually have toured the gravel pit up there. Sam, we got anybody on the phone?
No, Chair.
All right, seeing no other public comment, we're going to close that. Commissioners, what do you got?
I would make a motion if you care.
I didn't know if Commissioner Jabor had something.
I have just a question. Kiana, please, if you don't mind. Thank you. If Kiana is unable to answer Mr. Morales, I'll be happy to hear from you, sir. Thank you. Kiana, I'm just curious, how long has this gravel pit been here in Pahrump, and when was it approved as a gravel pit, please?
I think Mr. Morales would be a better person to answer that question. I know that it's been here several years,
Okay.
but I don't know exact.
And it was
He was
Joe's
ready,
Hauling
and he-
before it was this.
Rawlings?
Joe's Hauling. had it
Joe's
before
Hauling.
this, yeah.
Did manager know, or
Mr. Morales,
how far
please.
back this went?
Thank you. Do you know Brett, manager? Oh, okay.
Mr. Renee.
Hi, Rene Morales, for the record, R-E-N-E, last name Morales, M-O-R-A-L-E-S.
Yes, how long, sir? Before you purchased this, it was a gravel pit, is that right?
Yes, it's
And-
been a gravel pit for the last 30-some years, and I remember.
And how long have you owned it?
I got it for like 13, 14 years already.
13, 14 years. So 30 years ago, Commissioner, you remember it as a gravel pit?
Oh, absolutely. They were actually doing classes back then down in the pit for shooting too, and still to this day.
Nice. All right.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Morales. All right. What else? Anybody? Motion time?
Motion time. A, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minor master plan amendment ZCMP-24-12 based on staff findings and conditions. And B, I'd motion to approve the conforming zone change for ZCMP-24-10 based on staff recommendations, findings, and conditions.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor and a second. If there's nothing further, I'm going to call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Where's I?
Boscovich, aye. That motion carries 5-0. Number 9, please.
Item 9, 10 a.m. timed item for possible action, public hearing, discussion, and deliberation on A, ZCMP 24-17, an application for a master plan amendment, minor master plan amendment, to change a 1.2 acre lot from rural density residential RDR to community development area CDA to allow the expansion of rent-to-go rental facility located at 5800 East Gamebird Road, Pahrump, Nevada, assessors parcel number 041-292-13, Chrismore Investments LLC property owner, Top Rate Builders Inc. is the applicant. And in B, ZCMP-24-16, an application for a conforming zone change on a 1.2 acre lot parcel zoned rural estates RE1 to general commercial GC to allow the expansion of rent-to-go rental facility located at 5800 East Gamebird Road, Pahrump, Nevada, assessors parcel number 041-292-13, Chrismore Investments LLC property owner, Top Rank Builders Inc. applicant.
Thank you for that, Kiana. Again.
Thank you. And I forgot before the previous two items, Kiana Medici, MEDICI.
Thank you.
The Pahrump Regional Planning Commission heard these items at the November 13th, 2024 meeting. During the discussion of the meeting, the PRPC voted 7-0 to recommend approval of ZCMP 2417 and ZCMP 2416 to the Board of County Commissioners for the master plan amendment and zone change. These requests are made by the property owner to allow for the expansion of the rent-to-go rental facility. Staff finds that the requested changes comply with the requirements of Nye County Code, Title 1704. And Mr. Morales is in the audience if you have any questions.
Thank you for that. Let's open it up to public. Sam, do we have anybody on the phone?
No chair.
All right. Nope. You almost missed.
Linda Clark, CLARK. The only thing I want to say is, I don't know why anybody would want any kind of residential or something in that area to begin with. Makes more sense just to give it to the rental company. We already got all the other stuff that we're going to have to deal with in the neighborhood. I'm sure they don't want to deal with it either. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Anybody on the phone, Sam?
No chair.
All right, we're closing public comment. Commissioners,
Make a motion.
motion.
Make a motion to approve ZCMP-24-17, Master Plan Amendment Minor, and ZCMP-2416.
DuBois seconds.
We have a motion on the floor and a second. If there's nothing further, I'm going to call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Where's I?
Boscovich, aye. That motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Number 10.
Item number 10, 10 o'clock timed item for possible action, public hearing, discussion, and deliberation to adopt, amend, and adopt or reject Nye County Bill number 2025-02, a bill proposing to adopt an amendment to the development agreement between Nye County and Cedar Trees LLC to extend the development agreement an additional 5 years.
Thank you for that. Steve?
Good morning, Commissioners. Steve Osborne, OSB ORNE, Assistant Planning Director. So this development agreement is for the North Canyon Homes subdivision off of Simpkins. It was approved in 2020, the development agreement originally, and it had a 5-year duration. So it's coming up on for expiration in a couple of months. But the developer is requesting this modification. The only change they're asking for is to extend the agreement for 5 years. That's the only change to the agreement, is the time to add 5 years to it. So that's it.
Well, thank you. Let's open it up to public, please. Sam?
There's no comment on the phone, Chair.
Thank you. In Pahrump?
Beth Borisevich. Oh my God, I'm losing my voice. This is out by me.
Can you spell it?
Oh, BorySewich. Would it help if I wore a big old name tag? Anyway, this is out by me, and currently there's really nothing that's going on out there. There's the recovery place, the alcohol recovery place out there. There's an empty bar. But the problem is 5 years ago, there was nothing out there either. And the developer probably thought, yeah, well, this is great. Let's go ahead and throw a bunch of homes out here. The problem is if you extend it 5 years, in 5 years from now, there could be other things going on. This is going to impact the traffic out there, where we only really have accidents with donkeys and horses. It will impact the traffic around the housing that is already there. It'll put additional impact on emergency services, agricultural and rural preservation. In Vegas, we had a pig farm, and all of a sudden they built a whole bunch of houses around it. The pig farm had to move. They've been there for 45 years. So there's a whole bunch of other horses and other farms out that way. So that means that we're going to have to take the current businesses that have been there forever and move them, potentially because of complaints from residents. What I think that should involve is, if you're going to do something like this and put in homes near current farms, we should put in some sort of agreement that if the residents know that there is a farm in that area, and they might have smells and noises coming from that area, and that they cannot bring any kind of lawsuit to move that farm because they didn't know about it. So that's something I think we need to look at, because, you know, there's a lot of farmland here, and then there's going to be houses, and people don't want to smell the cows. They want to put 63 homes on 16 acres. 63 homes on 16 acres. The compactness of this agreement is ridiculous. If you extend this, I want to make sure that the new impact fees are going to be applied, and any new rules that we have will be applied. I don't want to see an agreement that was signed 10 years ago go into agreement to build these homes, which is going to impact the ruralness of that area out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. Do we have anybody on the phone, Sam?
No, Chair.
Steve, could you address, please, the impact fees, whether or not the new fees will be?
Yes. Steve Osborne, OSB ORNE. At the time the homes are constructed, they will pay the impact fees that are in effect at that time. So, yes, they will
Gotcha.
pay fees. Also, if I could just correct one thing, the maximum number of homes allowed in this subdivision is 32.
32?
Not sure where that 60.
Yeah, we got 28 in our backup.
And 28 is what actually is approved on the subdivision map.
Right.
It's 28 half-acre lots.
Space and everything else. Gotcha. Thank you for that.
Back when this first came up, what he wanted was 1/8 of an acre plots, I think it was.
8,000 square foot lots.
And we objected to that, thank you. And we got agreement to do half-acre lot. And that's where it is now, and that's where it's going to stay if we approve it, right?
Yes, correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. If there's nothing else, I'm ready for a motion.
Make a motion to adopt Nye County Bill number 2025-02 with an effective date of March 11th, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and a second. I'm going to call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Where's aye? Boscovich, aye. That carries 5-0. Thank you. Number 11, please.
Number 11 for possible action, discussion and deliberation to A, review of the report of profit and loss for the 2024 Pahrump Fall Festival, and B, approval for Town of Pahrump building and grounds staff to continue operating the annual Pahrump Fall Festival.
Thank you very much. Please go
Morning,
ahead.
Commissioners. Courtney Kenny, Kenney. I hope you guys have all had some time to look over the backup to see the profit and loss. We made sure to include from 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024, just so you can see the differences over the years. If you have any questions on the previous years, we're obviously here to answer any of those questions, but I did want to point out a lot from 2024. So for 2024, we did bring in more sponsorship money. We brought in more sponsorship money on the festival side of things, and that was the first year that the rodeo also did rodeo sponsorships on their side of things for the festival. So you had both sides there bringing in more sponsorship money, as well as we went back to the alcohol sponsorships with the bars. So we had Shenanigans Pub, I believe is what they're referred to now. They changed their name, Shenanigans Pub. We had them for our bar, and we went back to doing alcohol sponsorships. In the previous year, we did a contract where we got a percentage from the alcohol. We noticed that doesn't really work well. It works better when we do the alcohol sponsorships as we did in the first year in 2021, which was why we went back to that. We also raised the vendor fee for the vendor application that was on the item for last year for you guys to review the application. So that did go up $50 for the for-profit. It was $200, it went up to $250, and then the nonprofits went from $50 to $100. So we raised that little fee there that hadn't been raised since 2014. Another big change was the entertainment. So if you guys look between 23 and 24, so you guys can see that we kept that a little bit lower than the previous year. We worked our best to kind of keep that cost down there for the entertainment as well. We did bring in more local than non-local this last year for 2024. At the very bottom, you guys can also see notes there that finance has put in over the years. So we've had some changes over the years for finance. Kind of starting with 22, where it was the first year taking the labor out of the budget, the Fall Festival budget. And then if you go to 23, you guys can see down there, 23 was it was a hard year because it was the first time that the carnival tickets went online. So that was kind of hard for the public because they were used to the tickets being sold in person. We still did sell them in person, but with the whole change of them being online, that kind of threw off ticket sales. And then you can see 2023, the alcohol was not a flat fee, but it was a gross percentage. And then you can see all the differences for 2024 as well. There's some notes in there about, tourism advertising and just sponsors. And then the first time that we put the invoices through Eden. But if you guys have any questions, we are here about the profit and loss. That was kind of just the spots that I wanted to touch on.
Thank you for that, Courtney. Commissioners? Let's do public then. Sam, we got anybody?
Yes, Chair. The caller is unmuted. Please speak and spell your name for the record.
Yes, Caroline Logue, Logue. I apologize. My request was on the last topic and last agenda item, so I have nothing on this one. Thank you.
Thank you. In Pahrump.
Beth Borisevich, BorySewich. I sent each and every one of you already a letter on what I think of this entire fiasco. They brought in $146,613. Their net profit was $1,858. $1,000. If you have updated backup, that'd be nice, yes. Okay. Okay, so they made $8,000. Still, that's kind of an embarrassment. I hate to say it. I've been doing events, large events, for over 20 some odd years. In a library event that I've done, I've raised well over $2,000 on a 4-hour event for vendors to pay to come in. To see a $8,000 return on all of this money that was spent is a little ridiculous. Now, I don't know if the Fall Festival is meant to help bring in any funds, or if it's just to be a big old festival to rejoice because it's fall and that we've gotten through the year with, without any major concerns. The few issues I see is departmental oversight. Who's responsible for this event? What department? Nobody knows. I called around. Nobody could tell me exactly who the people are, except who just now gave this presentation. It needs to be a clear chain of command. How long has the staff been doing this? What experience do they have? Have they have any education in event management and negotiations? The application indicates that credit cards are not accepted for vendor fees. Why not? Are you afraid that they're going to back out and say, I didn't pay for this? Well, what you do for that is you require an indemnification agreement that indicates that there is no refunds for any reason whatsoever. Doesn't matter. The arts and crafts sector, where you're going to jury the arts and crafts and then you're going to give them ribbons and stuff, all of that needs to be renamed just so that people know the difference between arts and crafts from vendors that are out there selling their items and the other juried items that are going to be voted on for the best in whatever section they're in. I'm just really concerned that we have this event that spends and so much money and time and staff time. How much time did this amount of these staff people spend putting together this event? Is that what their job was when they were hired, to put on the fall event? There's something to look at. I mean, is there something that they should be doing? In what department they're doing it? Maybe planning, I don't know. But I'm highly concerned that we're spending money to do this. We want a fall festival, but we would like more than $8,000 in return. Thank you.
Beth. In Pahrump, please.
Richard Goldstein, Goldstein. I've been going to this fall festival for over 20 years now, and progressively the prices keep going up higher and higher and higher, such as the amusement, and the quality has been going lower and lower and lower. We need to do something to bring the prices down so a normal Pahrump family can afford to go to the fall festival. It's getting to the point we just can't afford to go. Like I say, the amusement, it's up to like $30 for the amusement. This is a local company, and the quality of their rides, well, I'm sorry to say, has been going into the crapper, excuse my language. We got to do something to improve this to make it so it's affordable for the people that live in Pahrump. This is not Las Vegas. We're not wealthy people here. We can't afford the prices that Las Vegas is getting for their festivals. We have to bring it down to the quality and the quantity and the prices of the people here in Pahrump. Thank you.
Thank you. Sam, do we have anyone on the phone?
No, Chair.
In Pahrump, Laura, please.
Laura Larson, LARSEN. There's I believe three things that I need to say about this, okay? First of all, everyone here relies on the fall festival. We don't have a lot of things that go on during this town. And everybody looks forward to the fall festival. I'll say it right now. My daughter looks forward to the fall festival. She can't wait to go. But one, the cost. We understand inflation. Everybody understands that. We all understand that. Cost of living, everything, okay? We understand that. Yes, we need to bring the cost down, okay? But you got to sit there and realize that this is what we have. Now, having management look over the funds and having fees and stuff, I actually went to the fall festival. It was very expensive. Enjoyed it with my daughter, but it was very expensive. Everybody there, they had high prices. For a meal, I think for an afternoon lunch, it was like 26 to 30 bucks for one person. That's insane. A lot of us can't afford those things, okay? I think you also need to do a lot of advertisement in Vegas to actually bring people out here, because it's only 45 minutes to an hour to drive out here. And I had to inform my sisters and family members that live in Vegas to come out to our events. Okay, so I think that's just a suggestion to them. Okay, so maybe we can get more revenue and more people to come out to our events to save their spots. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sam, you got anybody on the phone?
No, Chair.
In Pahrump. Somebody.
Linda Clark, CLARK. I have to apologize, I have never been to this event. I will go, but I have to find somebody to go with. If it doesn't have a basketball and a basketball hoop, my husband's not going to go. I don't care how many hot dogs you serve. He likes hot dogs. But the only thing that I have heard about this from people that I've talked to is the cost, especially for the children on the rides. And that's what the kids go for. They don't care about all that other crap. But the cost is high. I don't know what to do about that, because once it starts, it's hard to push it back down. And you can see that with everything else in our society today. If they can raise the price and keep it there, they're going to do it. You think things are going to go down when this economy gets better? No, they're still going to be the same. So we have to make up our mind if this event is worth the time and effort. For the kids, it's fun, but not the parents. They can't afford it. So whatever we can do would be helpful. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda. In Pahrump. Please.
Morning, Commissioners. Frank Carboni, CARBONE. I'd like to thank the Commission, as well as the people who have worked very hard to get this Fall Festival in place. They do a lot of things to make this happen, and a lot of time is spent. And from hearing from the people saying it's too expensive, all you can do is negotiate and try to negotiate prices down. But it's tough, especially when you're dealing with a one thing. So it's hard to negotiate when you're the only thing in town, okay? But again, I'd like to thank everybody for all the work they did. Jimmy, Courtney, you guys worked very hard on this. The staff has worked on it very hard. It's unfortunate that some people can't afford what's going on, and I understand that too, now that I'm unemployed. So again, it's people need to understand that this is a tough thing to do. So, and again, I thank you guys.
Thank you for that.
Good morning, Stephanie Elliott, ELLIOTT. I have gone to the Pahrump Harvest Festival, as it was known, the Fall Festival, for over 30 years. It is a mainstay in our little community. We should all feel very proud that we have dedicated members of our Pahrump town that are willing to toil and it's a lot of work. I personally work with somebody in finance today, and I know what goes on behind the scenes to make this a successful event. So yes, let's continue to have this. This is really something that each and every one of us looks forward to. I'd like to thank the team for continuing to make this a free event for attendance. Again, this is not Clark County, and we can enjoy the services, each other's company, the shows, all at no charge. And yes, there's always going to be an upcharge to the food trucks and the local vendors so that they can come back the following year. I'd also like to say congratulations. You know, in the last couple of years, we made a profit on the Pahrump Fall Festival, and that is something to celebrate. So this is not a moneymaker. I think we did a very good job of trying to reduce expenses, and kudos for listening to feedback from last year, bringing forward the local entertainment. I think that was very well received. So absolutely something that we need to continue in this town. I know it gets advertised throughout the area, and we need to continue to have this, you know, for our kids. I personally met my husband there. That was our first date. So it definitely has to be something that we keep here.
Thank you for that. Chief.
Scott Lewis, Fire Chief down at Pahrump. I have to, Stephanie actually stole most of my words because I've been involved with the Fall Festival and turning it into from the Harvest Festival and things like that. And even in cases where the town had to pick it up the last minute because those who were running it abandoned it. And so not only it wasn't something that the town actually desired to do, but they picked it up. They've done a great job with it. They've improved it each year. And the mere fact that it's making a profit whatsoever, as Stephanie eloquently stated, is amazing. And it's a testament to the work and the challenges that they faced putting this show on. But it also, as Stephanie said, it's mostly free for everyone to just go and enjoy each other. Thank you.
Thank you. Most of us here always look forward to the Fall Festival. Anybody on the phone?
Yes, Chair, the caller is unmuted. Please speak and spell your name for the record.
Yes, Caroline Logue, L-O-G-U-E. I'd like to recall my time since I didn't really speak to this issue, and I would like to do that now. I have been involved, like many others, since the town of Pahrump started this, the town board, to really bring people here to Pahrump and Nye County. I don't know how many people I speak to over in Las Vegas and ask them if they've ever been to Pahrump, and they all say usually no, or it's been a long time, or my parents have told me about it. So we don't have a tourist advisory board any longer, but we do need to have tourists come here and help support other businesses. So please keep the Pahrump Fair, Harvest Festival, whatever we are now calling it, an active part of our community. And it's not a fundraiser. It's a service to our businesses, to our residents, and especially to our children. And the rodeo has the ability to have their activities at the same time. So it's a community-wide service that this board, this county commission, is providing to the town of Pahrump. And we appreciate the efforts that the organizers are doing to put this on for everyone. So thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Ms. Logue. Did you have something? Anybody on the phone, Sam?
Yes, Chair, the caller is unmuted. Please speak and spell your name for the record.
Yes, this is Tim Bohannon, B-O-H-A-N-N-O-N. I can't say enough for being in favor of the festival. From a cost standpoint, continue keeping an eye, monitor it. If it's identify if it's fewer vendors, fewer people, too high of prices. I know people are concerned with that. You know, continue trying to make this something that the community can be very, very proud of. Thank you.
Thanks for that. Anybody else, Sam?
No, Chair.
Closed. All right, manager.
Well, just a couple of interesting facts in regard to the the Fall Festival. The reason it was abandoned is because the town would not allow the vendor at the time that was running it to charge an admission. They wanted to start charging an admission because they were looking to make a profit. That is not what it's for, obviously. It's for the people. A second thing is there was a comment about, attendance and lack of thereof implied. I will tell you, I met with a company that was actually trying to sell us a software, but they did pull some data for certain places around town, Walmart and the Nugget, and just certain businesses showing what their data does. And they had showed me that in the 3 days last year that we had the Fall Festival, not this prior one, but the one prior to that, there were 22,000 visitors that visited that park in those 3 days. So just thought you'd like to hear that.
All right,
I have a couple of comments also. Again, if I compare this with the fireworks that we do every year, it's the same thing. We don't make any money on fireworks. We lose a ton of money on fireworks, but we do it for the people. The kids come, the people come, they love it. It costs us a bundle of money. It's the same thing with the Fall Festival. It's not intended to make a lot of money. It'd be nice, but it's not intended to do that. There is no gate fee. People come in, they can walk around all day long. It doesn't cost them a dime if they want to do that. Food's expensive. Those are outside vendors. I remember when McDonald's was a quarter. It ain't that anymore, tell you that.
That was one of the original signs.
Yeah. I know, and I was there. If you want to, the only way you can make it cheaper for people to go there, because we don't control the cost of food, we don't control the cost of the rides. We can negotiate that, and we could actually say, okay, fine, as a town and as a board or whatever, we're willing to take a loss on it and subsidize the rides and the food. And I'm not sure we want to go there. But these two people standing right here, and they are from Pahrump Building and Grounds Department. I can't say enough about you guys, what you do to make this thing happen.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioners, if I may, there was a couple of comments that I wanted to add to that just to kind of answer some of the stuff that we were hearing. In regards to cost, myself and Jimmy Martinez, we do hear from the public in regards to the cost. And just to kind of clarify, the contract that we had with Paradise Amusements, the Carnival Company, that has now expired. We only had that contract through 2024. So if we get approved today to move forward, we are going to be putting it out to where we are seeking any qualified Carnival Company. And a couple of the things that we're going to have in there is lower ticket prices, no more split times for Saturdays, because that was a big thing. We do hear that from the public. So there are going to be things that we're going to have in there. And we have been reached out to, multiple Carnival companies have already reached out to us wanting to come here and negotiate. So we are going to work very hard at that. Another thing that I wanted to comment on is that we're not looking to make money. We do this for the community and for the public. We would hope just to break even. If it does make a profit, that's great, but we are doing this for the community. So that was all that I had to add, unless Jimmy has more.
Thank you for that, Commissioner.
I got something when available.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Thank you. Jimmy Martinez, Martinez. So yes, we listen to everybody. During Fall Festival, you can come up to us anytime and talk to us about what to change. We do get a lot of comments saying there's too many taco vendors or fried rice vendors or barbecue vendors. But that's the reason why we bring multiple in, because if we only bring in one taco vendor, there'll be a long line and their prices will be high. So we bring in multiple vendors with multiple foods the same, so then we can make sure those prices go low. And we've seen it. So they come up to us and be like, oh, I'm not getting busy. Well, what are you selling your taco plate for? They're selling for this price. Well, that line's longer, so you're going to have to lower your price or don't make me any money. So that's why our prices for vendors is low. So when you come in, their overhead's not so much, and they can keep their prices low so then our public can enjoy the food. And like Courtney was saying, Carnival, we're looking to keep it low for the public because we do hear them. And also this year we brought in our rodeo committee, actually did our rodeo this last year, and they helped us. So we're going to keep that in-house. The more we bring in-house, the more we can keep the costs as low as we can.
Cool. Thank you. Commissioner?
Thank you, Chair. Jimmy, Courtney, thank you very much. This doesn't just start in September, October, when the checks start coming in, and if the checks start coming in to be a vendor, it's too late. It's almost too late. There's no space, right? They have to make reservations the day of, right? The 3 days of. Now, Jimmy and Courtney and Jordan, and I'll apologize for not recognizing, but you can say their names if you'd like. They are there almost 24/7 for the week before and the week after, and clean up and during, to ensure that this is a successful event. When we turned it over to you, it was not profitable, and we didn't expect it to be profitable. But progressively, it's gotten better because of your dedication. You guys, I mean, I see you. And I had a booth. I rented a booth, right? If we say I rented a booth. And I ensured that it was left spotless, just the way it was supposed to. But I experienced having to get the liability insurance, having to go through the process. Everything was professional. You communicated. Okay, there was never a question, okay? And there is some truth to the payroll, that because you work on it all year long, okay, that should come into account. That's true. That was a great point public commenter made. But there are also some other facts that are inaccurate. People that are interested in wanting to take it over for whatever reason. My research, some of those companies are never even heard of, but they want to come and break in and take care of this here in Pahrump. But something else I'd like to mention to you is for years and years and years, the NFR has had the contract in Las Vegas, right? The people that attend the rodeo, the National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas, they save their money all year long just to attend that event. And we can't control the inflation. We can help by speaking with the vendors, and there is a method to the madness, and I appreciate you explaining that, okay? But we have to be careful with the vendors because they may not want to return, and there are only so many vendors that are available and so close to Las Vegas area and coming to Pahrump. So we have to be careful, just like you were very careful and cautious with the entertainment aspect, because a couple of years ago it was controversial, and you know the union was involved, and right, and locals were involved, and who wanted to be comped, and et cetera, or who was willing to comp their services, and great exposure. Okay, so you do a fantastic job. I'm very impressed. I too, I've said before, I've raised my daughter here in Pahrump since she was 2 years old. She'll be 33 next month, right? Yeah. And that we looked forward to coming to this Harvest Fest, Fall Fest. And yes, we had different chair people running it differently every year. And it was different. And there were concerns, there were complaints. Why did I get this? Why didn't I get that? How come I'm over there? Okay, well, every spot is a good spot, okay? And another public commenter, I think this is very important. He's not impressed with the local company. And it's not the company, it's not their management, it's their product, okay? And we have to think about the safety of the rides, the safety of the children, and not just the cost. And of course, the liability insurance is astronomical. Everybody here has to pay some type of insurance, and that's beyond our control. That's beyond your control. But you have to shop around. You have to help negotiate, try to negotiate. Don't always take the first answer that you get. But I really commend both of you and your staff, because you work very, very hard, not this past year, but for the past 4 years, right? So thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any other commissioners?
Yes. Yay. Okay, so there's some stuff that the public may not be aware of. You can just look at these four profits and losses, and you'll see the first one that's accounted for is 21, and there was no labor charged to 21. Because we were doing it without making anybody aware what it was costing to do this. Because if you put on a festival, any event, it could be soccer tournaments, it could be 4th of July, it costs our staff time, and we have to charge that, right? But we don't charge it to anybody. It's our absorbed time for us to do this. And so the interesting thing that you've done with being in-house, the good thing about this, is that you're more in control. And so if you're in control from the beginning to the end, you have less of the run around last minute, let's fix it. Oh my God, we forgot to even bring a stage. I've seen it all, okay? Needless to say, I've been coming to this damn thing for 52 years, and it's changed a lot. Matter of fact, we didn't have a rodeo, we had a gymkhana, and I got to be in it. So those were the days. We've evolved, and it costs money. But pointed out, there's no gate fee. So what I mean, the rodeo was awesome. I'm very proud of our Arena Advisory Committee, sitting as the liaison, that we got that done. And it took everybody. I mean, gee, man, in Christmas, what you guys do, just show up the week before and just watch all that goes on to set this up. It's crazy. But I don't think you're bringing enough to the table. I think you should be asking for a timeline so you have the ability to negotiate. You're just asking that you continue to do it. How long do you think shouldn't this board grant you, as the town board, a timeline so you can negotiate contracts? 3 years, 5 years, something. Because right now you're going into a carnival contract and you say, oh, we give it to you for a year. You need more time than that. You need that more time. The Rodeo Advisory Committee needs to be able to know that they can host this event so they can bring those riders, first-class riders, to this event. We didn't get them this year because we didn't have enough time. So I need to ask you, what would be the timeline that you would feel comfortable with being responsible for this event so you can build it to the real thing that it can be?
So Jimmy can correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say 10 years. We did not want to put a timeline on it because when we only had it for 4, just like what you said, we couldn't get those contracts that we were needing. And now we've realized after those first 4 years that in order to build these contracts as lengthy as we would want to lock in all the different aspects, we didn't want to put that timeline on it. But if that is the suggestion of the board, then I would say 10 years. And that's just my rough idea. I don't know if Jimmy agrees.
So our idea of bringing this, well, mine or whoever, just bringing it to you, it was not to put a year. We're going to, town staff is going to run it until.
You're told not to?
Yeah, we're told not to. Or something happens to the department where we can't.
That's not good enough for the rodeo arena, you know that.
I understand that. So
They're not going to be able to get the talent. That's not how you run Manafar. It's not how you run any rodeo.
Yeah, so that's the only reason why we didn't put a number, because, I mean, me and Courtney are a little crazy to do this, but, you know, that's what we like to do.
She wants 10. Would you like me to make a motion for 5?
I'd agree. I'd say 30, but, you know.
Or 10.
I don't know if
All right, Jimmy, you're going to have to retire at some point. But that's my point, commissioners. Can you see this?
I wrote 5 down.
You like 5? I hear 5.
Do it.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the town building and grounds staff to continue operating this annual event for 5 years.
Chabor seconds.
We have a motion on the floor and a second. I'm going to call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Chabor's aye.
Boscovich, aye. That carries 5-0. Good job, guys.
Thank you, commissioners.
And hopefully you go ahead and pass that on to the arena.
Did you add 5 years on that?
I did. He did say 5 years, right?
Yeah. Did you get it in a motion?
Who made the motion? I didn't.
Okay.
You made the motion.
Did I say 5 years? Oh, gosh. I thought you made the motion. Sorry.
Do you have any of the taco vendors outside? No. Okay. Sorry.
All right.
Sorry, folks.
Let's do 12, please.
Item 12, consent agenda items. These are items that staff recommends for approval. The board reserves the right to move any consent agenda item to the regular segment of the agenda should issues arise that need to be addressed. Discussion of any item from the consent agenda items that needs review before a decision is made. And this is item 12.1, 12.2, 12.3, inclusive.
Public, right? Public. Let's do some public comment. Sam.
There's no comment on the phone.
Closing public comment. Motion.
Pardon me, wasn't there someone that wanted to take one item out? So they would probably want to discuss that item now, because this is your time.
That was Beth, right?
You don't have to take
We're
it out to
gonna
discuss it. Thank you.
Reopen public comment so we can discuss 12.2.
Beth Borisevich, Boryssevich. The Affordable Housing Welfare Set-Aside Program in the amount of $11,666.67. A lot of this gets sent over to Nye Community Coalition, and my concern is that there's a lot of public requests right in now for their records. What we're trying to find out is where all the money goes, because when they get the money, almost all of it goes towards personnel and office. And I just want to make sure that this money is actually helping the individuals. We say we're going to give them money for housing, but how many people have gone out and just spent time doing whatever they say is their work, and it comes out being administrative? How much money actually goes to the individual that needs help with their rent? This is just one of the items that I'll continually be harping on with this kind of thing. So that is my question on that, is how do we account where every penny goes, because nobody ever sees a breakdown, and that's my concern. Thank you.
Thank you. In Pahrump, please.
Linda Clark, CLARK. My question is, the last 3 meetings, we've had money go to HSS, yeah, got that right. And all of this is going to housing, paying rent, helping people with this and helping people with that. And now we've got this that we're going to help people with housing division, set aside program. I don't know what all that covers. I didn't read. I'm sorry if there was a backup on it. But where is all this money coming from that we're throwing into all of these programs? And I know part of it was grants, and that's probably going to end. So I don't know what's going to happen to all these people that are expecting their rent to be paid every month, or their gas bill, or whatever else. But where are we getting all of this money? Okay, this says Affordable Housing Welfare Set-Aside Program. Where is that program? Is that something here? Is that something coming from our federal government? And is that something we count on every year? Does anybody have any answers for any of that?
I'll remind you, we don't answer your questions.
I know, you can't answer anything. Was there anything in the backup? Okay, she's got some answers. So, okay, but I'm just curious why we have 3 different things already in 3 months that have all money doing basically kind of the same thing. Can you explain that? Okay, I guess you can't. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda. Laura, in Pahrump.
Laura Larson, LARSEN. My concern is what it says here in the writing. Welfare set-aside program to offer rental, utility, security deposit assistance to eligible clients. Which clients? USAID just sit there and caught so much stuff that was being funded, not only regarding the fact of COVID-19 to cloud seeding and this, in addition to HUD, in addition to everything else. Okay? You guys are funding regarding the fact of this, but where is the money coming from? Let's follow the money. Okay? You guys say that we're broke. Where's the money? Who's giving it? Like I said, I'll be the first one to admit I didn't get a chance to pull up the backup. But if it's coming from our federal government, I want to know where before you guys approve anything. I don't know if you guys have researched that or got that information. I'm not sure. But you know what? That's something to think about. Did it come from USAID? We all found a lot of waste there. You guys approved stuff for HUD housing. You guys approved stuff even in December. A lot of money was going out that Biden was actually pushing out the door. And then they just found, what, $22 billion? Okay? For waste? I would research this a little bit more before you guys actually approve something and get more research on it. And I know this wonderful woman, she's got a lot of information regarding the fact of it. But, you know, nonprofit organizations are on that website that I was talking to you guys about earlier, my general comment. So I hope you guys can research that in addition of what's going on regarding the fact of the coalition and everything else and how much government money is being given. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sam, do we have anybody on the phone?
Yes, Chair, the caller is unmuted. Please speak and spell your name for the record. The caller is unmuted. Please speak and spell your name for the record.
All right, we're going to close public comment. Commissioners, what do we got?
Let's have Corinne Smith.
Yes, Corinne Smith.
Miss Corinne, do tell me you're going to straighten this out because you're the one that's receiving it in the name of Health and Human Services. It's nothing to do with Nye County Coalition.
Corinne Smith, Director of Health and Human Services, SMITH. I'm going to give it a big try. This is a grant that we have been applying for the last 6 years. It comes from Nevada Housing Division, and none of the funds go to Nye Communities Coalition. These are all funds that stay directly in my department. None of them are pay any administrative fees at all. It goes strictly to the clients who are in need of help with assistance with their rent, utilities, maybe a rental deposit. This program is slightly different than the last one I came in front of you. That one is a homeless at risk. This one is also for those that need help with their rent, maybe due to some type of unexpected loss that they've encountered. The eligibility, they fall within the income guidelines. We look at how many are in the household. We look at their income, and they also have to be able to show that if we help them with a month or two, that then they're able to make their rent and utilities going forward based on the information that we collect. It can also assist with the homeless prevention program by being another source for us to pay their rent or utilities while we're case managing and getting them back on their feet also. All our programs are strictly there in order to case manage, help them learn their budget, help them figure out where they're needing assistance, and hopefully to prevent them from being out on the street due to an unforeseen circumstance.
Thank you for that.
So within the body of this, it says tentative base rent assistance, emergency assistance for rent, motel, utilities, security deposit assistance for rent and utilities. So what it looks like is someone walks in your office and they apply to have assistance, and this is where the money has come from and what you're going to use it for. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
No, we cannot assist any illegals.
Good.
For sure.
For sure.
Doreen, I have a question, please. You mentioned the last 6 years you've applied and it's been approved,
Correct.
right? And usually you put on here some numbers for us and for the public to see of how many people that you've actually helped in the past 6 years, just to guesstimate, because I don't see it in here. It's not a trick question. We just like to know how many have you helped, how many are pending right now that have been coming to get assistance from you and your staff, your office?
Well, because we use different funds, it's kind of hard to really answer, but pending right now, I know would be a couple individuals for sure. It just varies depending, you know, I might be using other sources, I might be using this one, but I would say on an average, we probably help upwards of 13 to 15 families a year.
That's great, thank you. And so of this requested monies of almost 12, right, of almost 12,000, is there a cap per family, per person?
Yes, we do follow off the fair market value or fair market assessment in order to determine the amount of rent we can help with. But also we do have it written in our policies that when they apply and we give assistance, from the time they apply, right now we're assisting up to $2,500. It can change according to the grant, according to the year, and that is for a 2-year period. But from the point that we hit that, or we first apply, they cannot apply for 2 more years. It's not an ongoing, it's definitely one that we help a couple times, up to a $2,500. Once they hit that, that is it until they've reached that 2-year mark from the time they first were approved.
Great, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Chair, based on lengthy conversations I had with Corinne the other day, because I do delve into this stuff to try and find out where the money's coming from and what it's going to be used for before I just arbitrarily do something. So I would like to make a motion to approve consent agenda items 12.1, 12.2, and 12.3.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and a second. If there's nothing further, I'm going to call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Boscovich, aye. That motion carries 5-0. 13, please.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Item 13, for possible action, discussion and deliberation to A, appoint one member to the Regional Transportation Commission due to a term expiring from the following list of applicants: Robert Doug Blackstock, Frank Carbone, Mark Cochran, or David Welch, and or B, re-advertise for the appointment.
Thank you for that.
We have several in the audience.
We have several here. If anybody wants to speak, come on up. Any of the potentials?
Minutes are up. Thank you, Mr. DA. We really appreciate your input. Frank Carbone, Carbone for the record. And we have more than myself on the list. And again, you guys know my past. I think most of the people here in the audience probably know my past record. Being on the RTC for a number of years, as well as being the chair, being the vice chair. Never been the person from outside. John has been that. And I think I can do a fairly good job. I have a lot of background. I have a lot of things I can bring back to the RTC. I think there's a lot of things I can do. But I will also say there's a gentleman that's out here, and the other people that are on that list are probably just as capable. So you're not going to hurt my feelings if you don't choose me. So just letting you know. And because I got a lot of things to do. Even though I'm unemployed, I have a lot of things to do. In fact, I'm getting ready to put in an app. What's that thing called? The shelter. There's some work that needs to be done there that I offered to the shelter manager to help her get some things done. So,
Thank you for that.
Doug Blackstock, B-L-A-C-K-S-T-O-C-K. Some of you know my background, public works for a lot of 2 cities and transportation coast and meetings most of the time, if I can make it. Been on the planning commission for Horn, but everything the Transportation Commission does, I buy 6 times. And I'm an employee too, and I like that part of it, you know, so that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Public? Any applicants on the phone, Sam?
I have hands raised if you want to check them.
Let's check.
Okay. The caller is unmuted. Please speak and spell your name for the record.
Yes, Caroline Logue, Logue. And I appreciate the fact that we can have a transportation issue in Nye County and specifically in Pahrump, where the larger body of people, population reside. There are bills in the state legislation process to address funding for transportation. I would hope that there would be a concerted effort to support that legislation that would distribute money throughout Nevada for transportation needs. We could really use that, and the funding is going to be available to different locations, and we would qualify here in Pahrump and in Nye County, and approval and processing. So please think about doing that.
Medical transport coverage. Yeah. And so I think that the Pahrump Valley Transportation is going to have to pick up some slack. And my own experience has been that there was a shortage of drivers. I believe they're volunteers. So as Ms. Logue mentioned, perhaps some funding that could pay drivers to do medical transports or other transports, because simply said, there is no transportation inside of Pahrump, period. So whoever gets appointed, actually, my money's on Frank, to follow the funding sources so that when someone calls for an appointment, there's someone available to drive. Thank you.
Thank you. Sam, got anybody on the phone?
No, Chair.
Thank you. Laura, please.
Yes, Laura Larson, Larsen. I'm going to stay on topic because that's what the agenda says, because I'm not going to go into a long thing about things that we need for the commission, because the agenda is for appointing somebody. I personally think Frank Carbone would be the better choice. And the reason why I feel that Frank Carbone would be the better choice is because he's local. He's been here a lot of years. He also knows the inside of what needs to be done. I'm nothing against anybody else. People that have been here many years and are willing to step up, I applaud them. But I think the better choice would be, because he knows the NRSs, he knows the laws, he knows regarding the fact of what it can and cannot do, and he's easily to get a hold of in any time that you make a phone call to him. He will eventually call you back, just like a lot of you would. And a lot of you answer my phone calls too when I have a question. So I applaud you guys for that, and I thank you for that. But I think that that would be a better choice for this position. Thank you.
Thank you. Sam?
The caller is unmuted. Please speak and spell your name for the record.
Hi, Tim Bohannon, BOHANNON. To me, the decision's very easy on a plethora of reasons. I think Frank's is the proper choice in this.
Is he done? Anybody else, Sam?
No, Chair.
All right, we're going to close public comment. And
I am. Yes. Ready for a motion?
yes,
Or is there discussion?
is there just
Mr. Chairman, may I be recognized at your pleasure? Yes, sir. I thought about this quite a bit because what happens here historically is a lot of these boards are springboards for political advantage. What I don't want to do, and don't believe I can do, is make that assumption, and I'm not prepared to do that in my mind or anywhere else. But thinking about some kind of a rule that would apply just to my vote, and I would defer to any input from the DA or guidance from the DA should he want to offer that. What I would like to do is anytime you have one of these positions, I would make the time that if someone had a political background or is running for office, in the effort to preserve their rights and balance them against new faces and new ideas, and not using the boards for improper purpose of campaigning or quote unquote getting your name out, which by the way doesn't work in campaign. That doesn't work, but we haven't figured that out yet, some of us. I would just want to have a conversation with you if you, and I would seek out the people who are those people, so that it's not on them to find me, to request, just to have a conversation. And in the interest of fairness here to the former commissioner, because I don't think it's fair to just throw this out there right now. I'm probably not going to vote pending some unusual circumstance that happens here. I'm not going to vote on this because I did not give former commissioner that opportunity. So I don't think it would be right for me to do that. So I am not going to be voting this first round at the very least, and I yield back. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Koenig, did you have something?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Seeing as how you're going to make the motion. I mean, I know Frank. I've known Frank for quite a while. We've swapped commissioner positions a couple of times. And, you know, the Regional Transportation Commission, people seem to have a thought that it deals with transportation. Who would guess, right? Who would guess that it doesn't really? The RTC deals mainly with roads and things like that. Mr. Blackstock has an extensive background in what the RTC does. Frank has an extensive background in what we do on the RTC, but technically doesn't have what Mr. Blackstock does have. I personally believe the RTC needs that kind of knowledge to get our roads back into shape instead of following the direction we're going right now. But again, as chair, it's your decision. Again, like I said, Frank and I go back a long time, but I think we need to go in a different direction and see if it works. That's my comment.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commissioners? Well, it is true that Mr. Blackrock, and Mr. Welch, Blackstock, apologies. Sir, had to put my glasses back on. 50 years of attending the rodeo and 80 years of attending McDonald's, I had to put my glasses on and catch up to them, okay?
Our age is catching up.
So,
83 years, please.
83, okay. No doubt that there's extensive experience and very impressed with all of the resumes. And you hit on it, Commissioner. When there was a resignation, you were sitting in the audience, and we asked you to apply 3 years ago when there was an abrupt resignation. Why? Because you knew the intricacies. You knew the problems that we were being faced with. You were receiving the phone calls from your current and former constituents. And it was not to receive any political exposure, but to get you back on that board, on the RTC, to help make the right decisions. I can tell you that, we have, as you know, 18,000 plus square miles of Nye County. And we have approximately 9,000 paved roads, if we can call them paved, right? And everywhere I go, whether it's campaign season or not, it doesn't really matter, because I think those of you who know me, it is what it is, and we'll attack the issues and problems and concerns as quickly and best as possible. But the main complaint, the main concern, and they're legitimate, are our roads. And we need somebody who's ready for that, who's ready for the attack, who's ready to be attacked. And you know the direction. We didn't even speak about the direction, but you know my mindset. And we cannot afford not to have somebody that doesn't and is not so familiar with our roads throughout the county. And this is why I'm going to make the motion for Frank Carboni to be appointed.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and a second, and I'm just going to call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Jabor's aye. I believe I have to give a more detailed motion. I have to give a timeline and expiration. So I'll amend my motion to appoint Frank Carboni to the Regional Transportation Commission with an expired term to end January of 2026.
So amended second.
Nay on me, and are you not voting? No. Yes. No. That motion carries 3-1 with one.
I think we need to clean that up since he changed the actual motion. Please re-vote on that with the date time or date term.
Well, if you can't keep up as well as Michelle, just saying.
I wasn't expecting a amended motion after the motion passed. So.
Okay. Thank you. Remotion or recall for the vote?
Just remotion, restate your motion, and then call for the vote.
I move to appoint Frank Carboni to the Regional Transportation Commission with expired term of 2026, January.
Second.
Michael?
Go ahead.
Let's call for the vote.
Aye.
Sure I could.
Aye.
Jabor's aye.
Boscovich is nay, and Ian is not voting. All right, that carries 3-1 to 1. Moving on to number 14, please. Moving along at the speed of turtles.
Item 14 for possible action, discussion and deliberation to A, approve, amend and approve, or reject a Fourth Amendment between Nye County and Dominion Voting Systems, Inc., to continue utilizing the voting system software and warranty through December 31st, 2033, and the amount of $506,898.98. B, execute the agreement, and C, fund to 10101 general.
Thank you for that. Who's giving us this one? Clerk?
Sure.
The only thing I'm going to say is it's all in the backup. It's just an amendment to a contract that we've had since 2017. It was originally signed after extensive research. And before any decisions are made, please remember there are only 2 systems that can be used in Nevada.
Okay.
2.
Thank you for that. Public comment, let's open that. Sam, you got anybody?
No, Chair.
You were going so fast, Karen, you almost fell over.
No,
Got so much on my lap here. Karen Waldman, W-A-L-D-M-A-N. So one of my comments is it extends it for 9 years. That concerns me. I don't know what the previous amendments did, like is it normally a 2-year contract or 4 years or what it is? But some of the things that concern me is there's a lot that's changing in the government right now, especially about elections. And I would not want us to be locked into something for that length of time if things totally went upside down or changed in some way. And I don't know, I understand the need to keep it extended or do what you're going to do, but this seems to be the magic number for this meeting, $500,000, $500,000. It's a lot of money. And if it makes sense to be able to do it for less than 9 years, because I know it's only one of the two required, the state requires it, I believe, right? I think the state requires one of these two companies be used. So it's not like we can go out and have the Boy Scouts come and count for us. Probably do a good job, but anyway, I just think 9 years is a long time to extend it. Thank you.
Thank you. Beth, please.
Beth Borisevich, Borysevich. I read through all of that, and boy, is it boring. I'm wondering, don't we hand count our votes now? Well, then why do we need a voting machine? I mean, why not get rid of $506,898 over the next 9 years? Why? I mean, I think we should just not renew it and see what happens. I mean, government's changing. They're finding all kinds of money. You never know. We might get an influx of $1 trillion. I know, laugh. So anyway, I'm thinking that we should let this lapse and see what happens. I mean, we're hand counting the votes anyway. And then I heard something that there was a miscount this last voting season. No. So somebody was full of crap then. Okay, fine. All right, that's all I got to say. Don't do it. Just let it go.
Thank you. Miss Laura.
Yes, hello, Laura Larson, Larsen. Okay, I want to let everybody know what happened in the hand count, okay? We caught the machines. They had it programmed, the tabulators, at 5% of when they see a miss mark in the circle. We caught the machine. They didn't recalibrate it and rechange it. They had to call Dominion out to actually redo it. And they're supposed to set it at 0 to actually pick up if there's a mark in the circle or anything else. We caught the machines. Keep it that way. Eliminate it. That's first of all. Now, if you guys need the tabulators to run it through the machines, make sure that Dominion comes and sets it at 0. They're supposed to. But you know what they did? They actually sit there and said to the Secretary of State at the time, oh, well, we didn't know. We programmed it. And we always program it at 5%. This is Dominion. Now also, so you got to think about that. Now here's the question I have. If you're gonna extend this and you're gonna have the tabulators and you guys are gonna do this, why not just do it till 2027? Let's get through the 2026 elections. And you never know what Trump's gonna do, because remember what he said on his campaign? He said regarding the fact that he wants paper ballots and one-day vote. And he wants us to hand count. So you know what? We've done it before. And you know how many support that we actually had in our county from that hand count? We had people coming from Reno, from Washoe County, from Vegas to actually come and help count because they supported what we were doing. And if we're going to show an example to Vegas and everywhere else along the United States, let's do it. Say bye-bye Dominion, because actually Dominion is part of Smartmatic, and it actually was changing votes all over the country from this last election, that they just had a hearing in Georgia regarding the fact that they were proving that the machines were switching the votes. So you know what? You want to be reelected and don't want to have these machines sit there and change your vote. Something to think about. But I don't think you guys should renew this. I think you should let it go. I think we've had paper ballots. Let's stick to what works and let's count the vote. Because I bet you anything, you get a lot more people that will volunteer to stand up to the plate and help out counting the vote, to have fair elections, okay? We've talked about this in 2022. You guys actually moved to have paper ballots. So God bless you guys. Thank you. I moved that you guys don't renew it.
Sam, you got anybody on the phone?
Yes, Chair, the caller is unmuted. Please speak and spell your name for the record.
Yes, it's, excuse me, Caroline Logue, L-O-G-U-E. Sorry, I lost my voice. I needed some water. I wanted to just advise, I worked on the ballot balancing board, and I worked directly with Dominion representatives in the Dominion machines. There is checks and balances within the whole process of balancing the ballots. There isn't just one person handling it, but there is a number of people with eyes on the process that work to make sure that there are checks and balances. There's a lot of disinformation out there about how the process is performed, and we have a great county clerk's office that handles the balloting and the count and works closely with the Dominion representative who's on site to help answer questions, to take care of issues, and to make sure the process is handled correctly according to state law. We don't have a movement within what is required. We have checks and balances that keeps everybody on point and on record as to what actually is occurring as ballots are counted and processed. So please use Dominion. They have a history with us. They work hard at keeping things correctly performed within what is happening to our ballots. And we don't allow outsiders to come in to handle our ballots. Only county residents can be part of any process in our voting process that we utilize. So do keep Dominion involved. They have the ability to keep things going according to law. Thank you.
Thank you. And Param?
My name is Jane Davis, and I'm from County Commissioner District 2. And I'm here to just make a quick comment.
Can you spell your last name for the record?
Davis, D-A-V-I-S, as in Sam. And I'm here just to make a comment about the contract. Why would anyone in their right mind sign a contract for 9 years when there's nothing in there that's really protecting us? What I was reading, it was very, very vague. And this amendment that is mostly for the benefit of Dominion. So I am concerned about that. I would propose that you look at the contract and only sign it for 2 years, because there are so many things changing in our government at this time that we would still be liable for 9 years, even if things change and we no longer used Dominion. The other thing that I would like to do is have you suggest that you use someone who really knows how to negotiate and look at the contract if you really feel that we need it. My third concern is I think the state requires that we use these voting machines. And if they do, does that mean that if all of a sudden it stops, that we're going to be liable for paying back to the state for this particular machine? And I'm concerned about that. Thank you.
Thank Thank you. In Pahrump, please.
Tammy Pittman, P-I-T-A-M-I-N, and I echo everything Jane just said. Locking ourselves into a 9-year contract is like giving money away, and we are not sure what's going to happen. We have they need to build into a contract some safeguards, and there aren't there. So 2 years is the absolute maximum I would recommend, and still put in the safeguards.
Thank you. In Pahrump, please. I think you got to push the button there.
Hit the button. Robert Thomas, Thomas. My first recommendation as a member of the public is to let this contract go, not renew it at all. If you feel that your arm is being twisted where you need to sign the contract, then only do it through the next election cycle. I think we've all seen the news that President Trump is running faster than most of other politicians can keep up with, and I really think this should be revisited after the first 100 days of his tenure. I have a bitter taste in my mouth from Dominion Systems because one of the people I know, although this was San Luis Obispo in California, they did the dumpster diving for the receipts of the actual counting. And then they compared it with what was printed or reported to the Secretary of State in California, and the numbers were actually flipped. So to me, Dominion has no credibility, and I recommend that you vote no, or if you must vote yes, then please only take it through the next election cycle, and let's see what happens. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Sam, do you have anybody on the telly?
Yes, Chair, the caller is unmuted. Please speak and spell your name for the record.
Hi, this is Tim Bohannon. I deal with data quality, data governance on it.
Can you spell your last name, Tim?
Oh yeah, BOCC.
Thanks.
And as I was saying, on data governance, I deal with that on a daily basis. However, I vote paper. So the concerns of the Dominion machines they may be there. They may not. More facts would need to be made, but 9 years is a very, very long time, especially when we're talking about an accelerated political environment that may change the way we do things, not only with USAID, but also other things as well, and this is not an exception. 9 years is too long. Give yourself some flexibility. If it's required that we have to have this, then give us an out to be revisited if there's a legal or if there's a legal change. That way there's a caveat, so we're not on the hook for the extra years that we would need. But give ourselves some out contractually. Thank you.
Thank you. In Pahrump.
Linda Clark, CLARK. I wish Corey could put her 2 cents in. I don't guess she's allowed to because she's on your board. That makes sense to me, but anyway. I say no, we don't need it. And we can't count on our power system here, ask the people in Mountain Falls, to be available at that time to count votes. I'm not blaming it on anybody other than it keeps happening. The other thing I want to say is Frank needs a job. He said he would be happy to count the votes for you. Thank you.
Sam, we haven't.
There's no comment on the phone.
All right, we're going to close public comment and talk to
You
Corey
think?
or Commissioner Jabor. both.
I just have a few comments on what was said. First, it's an 8-year extension. I know it says 9, but it really is an 8-year extension. Just FYI. We don't hand count. I don't know who says we hand count. We don't hand count. We did for two elections through Mark, and I believe it was proved that Dominion works because it was under 1%. That was different. That was caught. That is on record. That is, I have all the backup for that. To let you guys know, if you really would like to get rid of all the tabulators, to tabulate the hand count, and this is a very fast machine, it was still over 4 hours to do election day on hand marked ballots. So that's just an FYI. If we don't have that. I almost got sick when somebody said that the election was off last year, because it wasn't. So that was just a hey. We use Dominion. I mean, that's all I can say. We use Dominion. I do know that they are willing to negotiate the years if we wanted to bring it down to 2 years. And I get that, and I completely understand that. I just don't know what the cost is going to be, because I know what it is if we do extend it out to 8 years. And right now, just FYI, we have paid them like $497,000 since we originally signed. The last 8 years, this is what's getting us through these elections. So yes, it is going up, not by much. I can't guarantee what it's going to be if we go further, and that's all.
Thank you for that. I know Commissioner Jabor had.
Well, thank you, Chair. Corey, could you clarify, and thank you for that clarification. Could you clarify the concern and issue of the liability, that if we were to just get rid of the machines, what our responsibility is actually to the state, et cetera, please?
On that, I don't know, but I do know that I have a representative from Dominion on the phone, if we'd like to pull her in.
Sure.
Let's do it.
The representative will need to press star 9 to raise their hand.
I know she's in an airport, so she may not be able to, but she just told me 30 days notice to CXL contract, to cancel contract.
That's what I was reading in the contract. I was waiting for you all. It
Sorry.
says in the amendments, this is going to be page 1 of 6 on the 4th Amendment, under Amendment Paragraph 3, actually it's 2, unless sooner terminated. So we have the right to terminate. We have the right to terminate.
Correct, and this locks in the price.
And
Which
this locks in the
again,
price.
I know it seems like a lot, but percentage-wise, this is not much more of a percentage. I mean, with inflation, we're still not much higher than we were in 17.
What I find interesting is how much is that costing us per voter then, I wonder.
So, through the chair. So, Madam Clerk, you've been in the clerk's office, you've been in the treasurer's office, you've been with the county for a long time. And you have been successful in the past 8 elections? Is that right?
I've only been in the clerk's office for the past,
Okay, I'd like
Yeah.
to know what your recommendation is.
My recommendation is we stick with Dominion. They're a trusted source. They are 100% available when we need them. Anytime, as again, right now, we're not in
Except
election.
unless you're at the airport.
Unless you're at the airport, which I'm sure I could get somebody if we needed, but I recommend we keep it with,
Okay.
that we stay with it.
Thank you, Madam
Because we
Clerk.
can cancel.
Thank you, Chair.
Anybody else have anything? Ms. Strozzi.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Honey Strozzi, STROZZI for the record. I'd just like to let everybody know that 9 years, well, I did put 9 years on here. That's my mistake. So 8 years and $500,000 is a lot of money. And the first contract, for the record, was 8 years, so we did agree to that. It is a long time. If the board would like to maybe just recommend 2 years, we can always take this back to Dominion and reach out to the other company that has been approved by the state to look for additional quotes. Because like she said, we only have 2 systems within the state of Nevada that have been approved. The other being election systems and software. So yeah, we do only have those 2 options. We can always look for additional quotes, proposals. Helen Bay also pointed out that we do, under force majeure, have an option to just cancel the contract. Is that what you're saying? Because I'm not quite sure I understand the entire.
There's also a clause, 10, force majeure, that if there is an event that to no blame to the government, the customer, or the provider, if there's a law or act that prohibits the use of the machines, that to no fault of either party is the contract null and void. So if there was an event where it is outlawed or there's something from the state that says Dominion is no longer or machines are no longer in use, then this contract is not valid.
Good afternoon, Commissioner. Stephanie Elliott, the Contracts and Grants Manager, ELLIOTT. I also want to point out that we do have termination clauses in the original contract that are not included in the backup. It was an 8-year contract, so essentially this is a re-extension of that same contract with a little bit of the pricing changes which we've indicated on the description. There is a termination clause for default, so if either party is in default, there would be a 30-day term to that, and there's also for non-appropriation of funds. So again, if we really get in dire straits and we're not able to budget this, we would need to notify Dominion as well. With a little bit of research, I was able to, yes, verify that there are only 2 certified within the state of Nevada. Dominion has had a proven track record with Nye County, and these are all voting systems that exceed or meet both state and federal standards. I also wanted to point out that every other county within the state utilizes a voting system. I would caution if we were the only county within the state that decides not to use a voting system. If you have any other questions regarding that contract, we're here to support.
Thank you for that. Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
One question that, excuse me, Commissioner, I'm sorry. One question we didn't ask our comptroller. It will be coming from the general fund. But has it been budgeted in the past year with anticipation that this would be expiring and that we would have to renew?
Yes, because this is a requirement and it's a normal operating and maintenance cost year over year that happens. So, and we usually, for service and supplies, we expect CPI increases of 3% at least. So our year over year O&M budget does include a 3% expectation for inflation.
Thank you, Helen. Commissioner?
I want to make a motion.
Go ahead.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve the 4th Amendment as written, execute the agreement and fund from 10101 general on the recommendation of our clerk.
Jabor seconds.
We have a motion on the floor and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Jabor's aye.
No.
Because the amendment says we can terminate it, I will vote aye.
I will vote no. That motion carries 3-2. Thank you very much. Let's.
Excuse me, Chair?
Yes.
Respectfully, yes, sir, if you don't mind. It is a appropriate question. With what we just discussed, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask why the nay votes from both commissioners, if you don't mind, sir.
I'm not comfortable with 10 or 8 years. 2 years I would have voted for.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but it says with cause.
Not with cause.
But it said there's a time period. You can't,
Unless you're terminated or extended as provided herein.
if you want to.
Well, can I explain, because the strongest element in here is paragraph 15.2, which specifically gives you the authority to cancel this contract if there is no appropriations made for it. So if you don't appropriate funds the next cycle, you can actually terminate the contract. And I just think from an economic standpoint, if a fee is locked in for this long a period of time, obviously it's not going to go up. But yes, you absolutely have under 15.2 the ability to not appropriate funds to fund this contract, and that's easily the strongest way of getting out of this contract at any point in time in the future that you want to.
I appreciate that. If the motion was 2 years or even 3 years, I would have voted yes.
Well, it did pass. It did pass, however, there is another provision that allows us with a unanimous vote for the chair to request a new vote.
I say let's do a new vote, please.
And new motion if.
A new motion.
I am
with that.
ready.
Okay, go for it.
I'd like to motion to approve the Fourth Amendment as written to execute the agreement and fund from 10101 general.
Time frame?
Oh, it's exactly like written. You want me to amend it to be a time frame of less than the contract? No. I will not. Oh, sorry. So I'm of the, I
Okay.
am not of the understanding I want this contract as written because I don't want the fees to go up. So
I
as
understand.
written, as stated.
Again, Jabor seconds.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have the motion again and a second again.
Nothing. I don't know why. Still was,
No.
I had no attempt
Where's
of
aye?
changing it. Aye.
Oh, I, Sam Reed.
I'm still no.
Okay, there we go.
Motion carries 3-2, only because of the time for me. All right.
And once again, it's a
Let's
contract, they
moving
be
on
contract.
to 16, please.
16?
Excuse me, just a second. The clerk has indicated in item 13 that the term is supposed to be 2027.
We reopen
Reopen that one, please, if you could.
13 and clarify that.
Vote for the third time.
That's a different item that we didn't vote on it 3 times. The clerk is straightening us out on 13, is what that is, Chair?
I can't remember who made the motion on that one.
It was Jabor.
That was me.
Yeah,
Bruce made the motion and then Deb seconded.
there you go.
It says it reads 2026, Mr. DA, Madam Clerk. The backup reads 2026. If it's 2027, I will so amend.
If I may,
Of course.
thank you. So according to the bylaws for this commission, the terms are 2 years. In the backup, that is incorrect. After Commissioner Koenig fulfilled his term and then became a commissioner, that position then was open, and it is for a 2-year term. So it's 2027.
2027.
Yes.
Isn't that what you said?
Oh, it's okay, Corey. 2026, 2027.
All right, so you're amending?
We got to reopen.
We have to reopen and.
Thank you,
thank-
Commissioner
thank you.
Strickland.
Are we required, Mr. DA, to reopen public comment?
No, you've done the item.
Thank you.
We have to reopen the item by reading it.
Yes. Just reopen the item. I think the record is
13?
clear.
Let's reopen 13,
Go ahead.
please. Okay, it's open.
No, I don't think it needs to be reread.
That's new. Okay.
Commissioner's going to restate.
Okay.
We need a lunch break.
Amending my appointment of Frank Carboni to the Regional Transportation Commission with an expiration date of January 2027.
Second.
Motion, second, vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Jabor's aye.
Ian's not voting, and I'll still vote nay.
Before you go, could we do,
That motion carries 3, 1, and 1. Closed again.
could we do 21 before we take a break so they can get out of here?
Absolutely. Can we switch over to 21, please?
Where'd she go?
Who?
No, Chris is here, so.
Yeah.
21?
Yep. Thank you.
She's.
Item 21, for possible action, discussion and deliberation on AP-24-10, an appeal of the Pahrump Regional Planning Commission's determination that having livestock is not in compliance with the Pahrump Regional Planning District zoning ordinance on a property zoned village residential VR20 located at 521 East Hickory Street, Pahrump, Nevada, assessor's parcel number 040-481-06, for trust property owners, Faith Simonik, applicant appellant.
Thank you for that. Kiana?
Thank you. Kiana Medici, Medici. AP 24-9 was heard by the Pahrump Regional Planning Commission at the December 11th, 2024 meeting. The PRPC voted 4-0 to affirm the zoning administrator's decision that having livestock is not in compliance with the PRPD zoning ordinance of VR20 Village Residential. The applicant filed AP 2410 requesting to appeal the RPC's decision, and that application was submitted December 18th, 2024, within the required 10 days. This began as a co-compliance complaint. It went through that process. Ms. Simonik applied for the appeal through the Planning Commission, and this is kind of where we're at now. And Mr. and Ms. Simonik are both in the audience if you have questions.
Thank you for that. Let's do public comment on this one. Sam, you got anybody?
No, Chair.
Seeing and hearing none, we're closing that.
All right,
All right, go ahead.
I asked to bring this so they don't have to stay here the rest of the day, but it is my opinion, and I have verified that with the district attorney, that if we do approve this, anybody with a VR20 lot will be able to have animals. And that's not what we want to do. I have talked to Ms. Simonik and asked her to put a waiver in, to get a waiver on her property so she can have her pet bull or pet cow there. But we can't allow anyone with a half-acre property to have animals.
So how do we
because
get the waiver?
Code doesn't, huh?
She needs to apply for the waiver?
She needs to apply for the waiver. I'm going to hold her hand and walk her through the whole thing. And then I'm going to also request that we waive the fee for the waiver.
Okay, so does that mean we're pulling this item for now, continuing it? What are we doing?
No,
Can I just?
we're not, no, it's my opinion, if we approve it, is the wrong thing to do. We need to deny this, right? Yes, we
I
need to,
absolutely agree we have to deny it,
we need to deny it,
so we don't have anybody within those zoning areas
right.
thinking it's
I
okay.
would like to hear from Faith,
Thank you.
please. Briefly, or
Faith Simonik, Simunick. So we have an acre of property, fully fenced. She's in a double fenced area. She is an emotional support animal. She is not a certified service animal. She is a mini cow. She will not get bigger than 42 inches. Granted, she's a little on the thick side because she's very healthy, but we've been going for walks. We walk through the neighborhood. The kids come out. The people come out. I have also submitted a petition that has all of my neighbors up and down my street and some behind me that are okay with her being there. She is cleaned up after 2-3 times a day. I have photos of me walking her down the street. We put bows in her hair. We do all of the things. The story behind her is that my sister had passed away, and her name was Hope. and I was at the time looking for a mini cow because I've always wanted one. I was in search for a micro mini, which only gets up to 36 inches, which is the size of a dog. So it could be in my house, so no one would ever know. Not that I was breaking any rules. If you want to put them in rules, okay, yes, I am. But it just so happened that this girl became available, and her name was Hope. So it was kind of serendipitous, I guess you would say, that she was born with that name, and my sister had just passed away, and so now I have her. And again, she helps on a daily when you get stuck in a rut, on your daily things that you need to do as a human. If you go outside and you brush her, or you give her treats, or you take her for a walk, you do those things, put bows in her hair, whatever it is, you know, it does help with the mental health part. It does. And it will lift your spirits up when she goes to lick your face. You know, I know it's not good hygiene, but we do that. We share those kisses. So it is what it is. And I've been told that I need to file an appeal, and I've been told that I need to do a waiver. And so I've just been going with the flow of what it is that I need to do to be here. And that's where I'm at.
I appreciate that. Just coincidentally, my uncle
I know.
is one of your neighbors.
I know.
Who loves your cow.
I talk to him all the
I
time.
asked her to bring the cow with her today, so.
I'm wearing white. I'm not going to bring her with me. I have pictures right here. I have a slideshow ready to go.
There is no way that I want to deprive you of your cow.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
But
that.
the way this is written, it's our opinion that if we approve it, anybody with the same zoning you have will be able to have cows.
I have a medical support letter, though, too, as well.
It's the way it's written.
Okay.
Is my problem.
Okay.
If this was only
Right.
your property, you'd be fine.
I get it.
Go ahead, Commissioner. I'm sorry.
Are you finished, Commissioner?
Yes, sir.
For now?
Yes, sir.
Temporarily, thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm going to professionally disagree. Under the Nevada Emotional Support Animal Laws, individuals are protected by the Fair Housing Act. The Fair Housing Act protects the rights of people with disabilities to have emotional support animals, which is different than service animals.
Correct.
And I understand. This is my time, Faith, Ms. Simonik. Thank you. And the people have the right to be with their ESAs, emotional service animals, anywhere in Nevada. And getting an ESA letter, which you say you have, from a licensed mental health professional will ensure you have an equal opportunity with your support animal. What I'm uncomfortable with is if we were to deny this formally versus tabling it, rewriting it, she gets her waiver, comes back before us, but to deny it closes that particular door with this item.
How would you? How would?
I don't know how to do that, because it's written because it came from
wait a
the
minute.
RPC.
I am so sorry. You guys are just way opening too big a can of worms. You can call this, I'm, respectfully, she could have a tiger. Is that okay with you? It's not.
But this is
We
not a tiger.
cannot have, all I gotta do is go get a letter, a medical support letter, and I can have any animal I want on any property and within we have zoning for a reason. Faith, you're a commissioner with the Regional Planning Commission. This is unacceptable. I'm sorry. I'm very disappointed in this line of thought that we could move forward with this is a medical support animal are you going to have a waiver that it only runs with that animal, and upon the death of that animal that she can't have another one? And can their next one be a bobcat? Or it doesn't make any sense to me. Sorry. Everybody's, that's why there's five of us, right?
Don't be sorry, Commissioner. I understand. I understand the mindset. Where we are at right now is this is a mini cow. This is a mini cow. If And here, let me just bring something up. And I understand there's disagreement, and that's why we're talking about it. A year ago, we had people here carrying torches because they wanted to have 1 cow, 2 cows, a goat in their yards, chickens, etc. And they said it was for survival. Right? It was for survival. And so this is a very sensitive and dedicated, specific item that's on in front of us right now. And I understand if it wasn't written correctly, then let's write it correctly, but not deny it, because this is her survival for having, and I apologize, but I admire you for saying that there's some type of mental health issue. Some people are in denial, and you are not, and I appreciate you coming forward and being able to go in front of the public for this.
Faith, I know your sister. I've known you since the day, forever. Absolutely forever.
County Manager, you look like you want to say something.
Oh, I guess, because we've had chicken.
Go ahead.
I've had people that live on acre and a quarters that have chickens, and they're zoned VR20, and they had to remove, they couldn't have chickens for the exact same reason. So I'll shut up, and you're right. I'm acting chair. Go ahead.
Maybe we can rezone the property.
They don't spot zone.
For reasons.
Perfectly good ones. I agree with them.
So, one thing I'm gonna, just to address your question, denying it, tabling it, it has to be re-agendized, it would have to be re-noticed, there's really no difference. I mean, you're not gonna gain anything other than tabling it would actually cost the county money, which I guess if we're not gonna charge fees, but that can't really be done, obviously, through here, or this item. You know, it's gonna cost money to renotice and stuff regardless. But my point is, it doesn't really matter if you denied it or you tabled it or whatever. This item couldn't, if you're wanting to rewrite it, couldn't just be put back on a new agenda without a new notice being sent out to all the neighbors and stuff. The other thing I'm gonna remind this board is we've got somebody with 10 emotional support tigers. That's cost this county a ton of money in trying to enforce. And, you know, thirdly is, yes, we've tried to do things for chickens. Commissioner Strickland had brought up, they are acre and a quarter lots, they're zoned VR20. Same circumstance. We did try to bring forward a ordinance with some regulation to allow chickens in VR20, for instance, but nobody wanted any kind of regulations to come along with it to make sure they weren't going to disturb your neighbor or anything else. Faith is unique. She owns the parcel next door. I guess you can annex her out of the town of Pahrump and then the zoning wouldn't apply no more. But it's kind of arbitrary to pick and choose which parcels you make concessions for, because there have been many that have been denied. And as much as it pains me to say this, and there's a reason I've never went and looked at this cow, because I probably couldn't do my job anymore. So I just wanted to bring that stuff.
Go look at the cow.
First of all, first of all, you were never supposed to bring up the great chicken debacle.
Right?
Of 2 years ago. So what do we do here?
Okay, we've been informed by a manager that whether we table it, deny it, whatever, it's still gonna cost the county to redo, and excuse me, Chair, I see the DA.
I do want to address some of the legal issues that are raised here. There's this idea that support animals are automatically legally required to be allowed. That is not correct. It has to be connected to a disability. And a disability, you know, just emotional support in and of itself is not a mandated, protected animal. And quite frankly, the other issue, and again, unless it's linked to a specific disability. So if it's emotional support for someone with a disability, but I have not heard any evidence that this animal is because of a disability that the owner has. It's a comfort animal. Is there a disability? Is there a recognizable disability? There is no record that there's a recognizable disability that we have to accommodate. And so I think, you know, again, as we talk about, when you start doing these things, you start opening the door, and you're never going to be able to close that door, you know, once this happens. And so I just caution you that, again, I think there's been some misstatements as to what the law actually requires. And it's my legal opinion that unless there's a record that there's a disability that needs to have a emotional support animal, then it really is not supportable as this record appears.
Would the waiver solve this problem, or would it not? If she were granted a waiver?
Well, when you start granting waivers, how do you deny the next waiver request? That's the box you put
Yeah,
yourself
but
into.
we grant waivers all the time.
Can I interject something real quick? A waiver is difficult because it's actually codified where waivers apply, and they gotta be for certain reasons. So,
Not once it gets here.
well, I'm not aware of a waiver application that falls to this board in the PRPD.
Well, once the RPC denies the waiver, then it's gotta come here.
Under an appeal. So that's kind of your,
I'm prepared to hold her hand through the whole process to get it here to approve her poor cow.
Okay, so if I want to have a horse, let's take a different example. And I'm on a parcel that does not allow for horses. I can board my horse. And you know that yourself. You could have your cow at a boarding facility because it doesn't belong on your property. And so I stand on that because it is not an allowable and not fair to the rest of the community that you get special treatment, then they'll want special treatment. And you guys are rolling this. I'm going to make a motion when you're ready to at least address what's in front of us. Because then, should you come to the Regional Planning Commission and do all the other stuff, but in the meantime, you commissioners need to really be thinking about what you're doing when it comes to property rights for other property owners around you. Sure, but what about the next person that moves on next to you?
I would gladly go and have a conversation with them.
Great, but they don't like cows. They're allergic to them. Now you're infringing on their property rights. You see? And you know that.
I disagree.
Why we're here.
I think if you're willing to help her through the waiver process, that would probably be your best.
I don't think we have a choice.
How come we don't have a choice? She can't have it at another property?
Wait.
Where's boarding facilities apparently everywhere in town? We've heard from that.
All I'm saying is if we approve this, it does things that we don't want to do.
Right.
Now, I'll start a waiver, which applies only to her property. And if people don't want her to have the cow on her property, it's a different story.
And I'm not convinced it's just an emotional support. This could be a,
It's a medical support letter is what's been stated. All right, so I'll make a motion so we can move on and see what the commissioners think of this, okay? I'd like to make a motion to affirm the decision made by the zoning administrator.
By the PRPC.
It actually says zoning administrator right here.
Staff
In the
recommends upholding the decision of the PRPC in accordance with Nye County Code.
I'll second that.
so we have a motion and a second. I forgot I was chair there for a minute.
We've been
We'll
back and
call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Yay, aye, sorry.
What was your vote?
Boskovich's nay. It's already passed.
It's already passed.
Sorry, I understand.
I've met the cow.
I'm not sure the vote was clear.
I don't think it's even.
It's not clear. I haven't voted yet, Mr. DA. If, there was nothing about the waiver, but Commissioner Koenig's going to go in a different direction. I'll vote yes. As long as you promise to bring that waiver back before us.
All right, that motion carries 4-1. And now we are going to do 1 hour for lunch. Can we do it?
Thank you.
Let's do it. I don't know.
Wait, hold on, let me get Dawn on the phone. Dawn.
I know exactly right.
Chair, this is Kelly in Tonopah. Just for clarification, you want to reconvene at 2:30?
Yes, 2:30.
Okay, thank you.